There's a note in there from a TSA agent that says, "Hey, love the show."
Yeah. That's pretty good.
Right.
Inside the bag.
Inside the bag.
Yeah.
You've done the old in-bag inspection.
That is Trash on the Table, brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right.
Yeah, again, if you're looking for your first home or your final home, our friends at Mortgage Right, they are there to help. 205-900-7200 or mortgageright.com.
All right, and this hour brought to you by our friends at Champy's Chicken. Our dash to the end here. Champy's Chicken, a little easy, quick lunch for you today on Highway 119 in Alabaster. All the wonderful sides you get with a Southern meal, the cheese, sausage, and pickle plates, a great appetizer. So, too, the Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, made from scratch desserts, including Mississippi mud pie. The headliners always the great Southern fried chicken that's brined overnight, hand-cut chicken fingers, the unbelievable po' boys, chicken on a stick, and so much more. It's all with Sterling and the guys. Highway 119 in Alabaster, champy'schicken.com, champy'schicken.com. All right, tomorrow, when we gather back and we're talking about the national championship game, I don't want a creative headline, but what will we be talking about tomorrow morning, in your opinion? You want to go first, LT?
Yeah, it's fine. Ryan Day's life has changed. He's finally won that national championship that eluded him for not so many years, because he's only been coaching for what? He's been the head coach 4 years now?
6 years, maybe?
6 years, whatever it is. But I think he's going to be in that exclusive club of having a national championship. If it flips the other way, boy, it's a much bigger deal to me if Notre Dame wins a national championship.
Well, I agree, because Marcus Freeman's stock is already the biggest gainer in this entire playoff. If he adds a national championship to it, because you can legitimately ask the question, is Notre Dame back on the national scene as a national championship contender? If they can beat this Ohio State team and run through the playoffs the way they did, having beaten one-loss Indiana, SEC champion Georgia, Big Ten runner-up Penn State, and Ohio State, they can beat those 4 straight. Where are they going, right? I mean, I think Notre Dame all of a sudden becomes a national contender every year under Marcus Freeman.
Steve Sarkisian gets a 7-year contract, $10.6 million a year as the starting point, third highest paid coach in college football. Why Sark getting paid again, you think? Well, you think there was some buzz with NFL teams?
We brought this up a couple of weeks ago when you started to hear, hey, Jerry Jones might want to talk to Sark. It was all about leverage and getting more money. And look, Sark did have a good year. Not a great year. I mean, because you look back at who he beat, and, best win was maybe Michigan or Vanderbilt. But they did play for the SEC. They did win a couple of playoff games, so I'm not surprised he got a raise at all.
The initial report said after, I think it was refusing to talk to 2 NFL teams, or declining an interview with 2 NFL teams. So the reports from the Austin side were that 2 NFL teams came after Sark. One would have to believe one of them is Dallas. I don't know who you guys think the other one would be. Vegas?
Why not the Bears? We got Caleb Williams, play designer, yeah.
Yeah, maybe so. I don't know. But one of the other openings, at least according to the reports, they came after Sark too. He declined to talk to him and instead parlayed it into a big contract extension.
They keep his general manager as well. Brandon Harris signs a new contract with Sark there. I'll save this discussion for tomorrow. But think about it overnight. How long do you think Arch Manning is QB1 at Texas? You think he's one and done? Because early projections for the NFL draft, you get to Arch Manning's name pretty darn quick in the 2026 NFL draft. All right, one more college football game to go. Tonight in the ATL, Ohio State the favorite against Notre Dame. Get your plays at lanceslock.com. And we're back with you tomorrow with reaction of the game at 9 a.m. Central Time. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.
Visit nextroundlive.com today. It's free, unless you haven't paid your internet bill. So go ahead and pay that, and then it's free. Heck, you can pull out your phone and go to nextroundlive.com right now, where you'll find all the free content that you can stomach, unless you haven't paid your phone bill. Then you need to pay that, and then you can enjoy all the free content. NextRoundLive.com is so rewarding that it should be behind a paywall, like Lance's Lock. So in summary, play Lance's Lock. Then you'll have enough money to pay your bills, and go to NextRoundLive.com, where you're always at your happiest, for free.
Call the Next Round now at 205-734-0923. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Alabama back in action tonight, basketball-wise. We'll talk about that here from Nate Oates coming up on the show, and a guarantee from a freshman coming up as we progress through the show today. We'll talk more about the NFL playoffs and a special class that Jaden Daniels enters this weekend, and the future of college football, the 2025 odds and the way too earlys. We'll get to all that, but we got to start with the actual game that ended the 2024 season. It could not have started any better for Notre Dame. 18 plays. They had up almost the entire first quarter. Ohio State did not get a complete drive in the first quarter. That was textbook perfect start for the Fighting Irish.
You know, I said after to the people that were in my house watching and in a couple texts, I really think that was the most impressive drive I've ever seen in my life. Like I
understand. The fourth down conversions.
Yeah, I mean, you don't necessarily keep scores of the greatest drives you've ever seen. Like John Elway had a couple against Cleveland that are a legend, or at least the one against Cleveland that is legendary. And then Joe Montana had the one against Cincinnati that is legendary.
McElroy down at Jordan-Hare Stadium.
Okay. Yes, Jim.
I mean, seriously, 2009, that drive.
He puts those with John Elway.
Wow.
You don't get to Pasadena without that drive.
Okay. Yeah. The most impressive drive I've ever seen was Stafford to Cup. You knew he was going to Cup.
Right. I mean, we've all made it personal now.
Do you guys? That was to win the Super Bowl. There was only one player he could go to, and he went to him every freaking pass.
But I mean, if you're going to downplay McElroy in that drive with Julio and then the pass at the end.
I'm not downplaying it. I'm just saying it
on
probably,
the road at Jordan-Hare.
I'm just saying it probably never gets mentioned in the same way.
What was that Auburn team's record?
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't matter. The national championship was hanging in the balance.
So anyway, it had to be one of the most impressive drives I have ever seen in my life to open a game, and the fact that they knew Riley Leonard was running the football and could not stop him was amazing to me.
Well, look, I had the under in that game. I had Ohio State, almost lost both ways. But, after that drive, when they got multiple fourth downs that they went for, so it was 18 plays. They threw the ball 5 times. On some of those fourth downs, I was like, this drive is perfect if Ohio State can just get off the field with no points, because the way they were eating clock. I really didn't think they could sustain that, though. I mean, Mike Denbrock, really good job with that first drive. But then after that, they didn't have another first down midway through the third quarter.
Yeah.
Like, how that game did not get out of hand is on Ryan Day.
It's on Ryan Day. It's 31-7, and they put it into neutral.
Yep.
And they were gonna count down to the confetti. And by the end, when it's 31-23 with 4:15 to go in the game.
All of a sudden, you got to get some first downs just to survive.
Yeah. And then it's 3rd and 11 with 2:45 to go. And,
I know.
And you have to throw it deep to your freshman to secure the game.
Well, that was such a weird – I mean, it ended up being a great call.
Yeah.
But it was such a weird call based on how conservative they had been. Yeah. And then they go all out on that throw, which I absolutely love because it brought the cover back into play. And you could hear Fowler and Herbstreit talking about it on the broadcast. But, I mean, to be that conservative, I thought they were going to run again. And at that point – I wanted Notre Dame to win so bad, and I really think it would have gone from, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong or if you disagree, you've got a 24-point lead with 3 minutes to go in the third quarter of a national championship. You go from that to losing that game and getting fired.
Yeah, no.
I think he could have gotten fired.
I don't disagree with you. That was going to be one of the worst collapses in football history, period.
It would have been.
Yeah, you
talk about Pete Carroll and the call down at the line in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's a close game.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, there are some decisions that cost you championships, but to sit on a 31-7 lead, it would have been a tremendous, a fireable offense. It would have absolutely been a fireable offense.
That said, I was about to say Dan Quinn may have. A lot of people thought he would never recover from that in Atlanta, right?
Well, he was fired the next year.
He was, but look at Dan Quinn now. So I guess you can dig
a long way back.
It has. I guess you can dig your way out of those holes.
Oh, look, I think Ryan Day would be fine. He just wouldn't be fine at Ohio State.
No.
I watched that Super Bowl at the Redmont downtown. I mean, that's how long ago that was.
It would have been, I can't even imagine the collapse. What do you think? And I still think Ohio State fans, they're super excited. He's in a different echelon now. But do you not think people are going to go back to the Michigan game and that game and be like, what the hell? Like, why are we conservative with the great talent and the skill we've got?
But fortunately for Ryan Day, as much as we've praised Marcus Freeman, he made some equally curious decisions.
Oh, I'll never understand, Brown. We're to the point now that if it's short yardage, if you don't fake a punt,
just go for it.
It's 4th and 2.
Have your best players on the
both
field.
special teams. I mean, the fake punt was stupid.
Yeah.
Riley Leonard wanted to stay on the field, and then going for the field goal to make it 13 instead of 16. I don't understand that.
Yeah, that didn't make sense then.
Yeah,
either.
I mean, like if you score the touchdown, don't get the 2 points, then the next time you've got to have the field goal. But at that point, you're playing in your head. Let's get 2 touchdowns and two-point conversions.
That field goal, it's still 2 touchdowns.
That's right.
It changed nothing to what you needed.
When you kick the field goal, they're like, okay, so we've made it a 1-possession game. Nope, still 2-possession game.
Yeah. Not just 2 possessions, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, we just shaved some points off.
Yeah.
But the fake punt, I'm with you, Jim. Like, just keep your offense out there.
Yeah, what's a better percentage? I mean, all these percentages that we go by now, what's the better percentage? 4th and 2 with your punt team out there or with your offense out there?
You probably get it 75% with your offense, and with your punt team, probably 25%.
I mean,
close.
You had a really good 2-point play that you ended up using. That's your 2-point play. 4th and 2, run a really good 2-point play if you have to. Do something. Don't fake a punt. I'm asking a punter to throw to a backup quarterback, I think it was.
Yeah, and by the way, I thought Riley Leonard played a hell of a game against a really good defense.
Oh, I agree with you.
Yep.
We've discussed Riley Leonard and where he ranks in the college football history of best quarterbacks. 22 of 31, and passing is not his most impressive thing, but he was last night. That 1 touchdown he dropped in to make it 31-23 was about as good a ball he could throw. 255, he had 3 total touchdowns. He gutsy, plays above his skis when it comes to his athletic ability. I thought he was fantastic last night.
Yeah, he was exceptional.
He just doesn't have the Jimmies and Joes the other team had.
Yeah, we have spent a lot of time talking about him, who he is, who he compares to. Last night, he played a tremendous football game. You cannot put any of that at Riley Leonard's feet. Like, I don't even know if you can find a GOAT for Notre Dame to blame. I know Freeman made some curious decisions, but I just thought Notre Dame played about as well as they could play. You gave the stat after that first drive, they didn't get a first down until the third quarter. I get it, but they were playing against a better team. I mean, I don't look at that game and think, boy, if Notre Dame, it's not like the Mark Andrews situation with Baltimore where I can find an obvious guy where you're like, God, Mark Andrews, what's he doing? As good as he's been,
Yeah. I know, I agree with you. And, you can talk about Freeman. I thought the punt and the field goal, those are the 2 horrible decisions, but on that very first drive, to have the guts on that first 4th down to go for it where he went, and to do it twice, but that first one, when you're like, all right, you could punt this.
That's right,
and we can play.
It hasn't been a loss.
We can play Notre Dame style here. We flip the script, we flip the field
That's
here,
right.
and
Make
we
them
punt
play out of the
play
hole.
conservative, and put a little pressure on them. But he went for it, and it paid off. So, I don't even have any shade for Marcus Freeman in the loss.
Yeah, look,
ironically, it's the Ryan Day I've got the shade from,
and
and he's the national champion.
I agree, though, because, you see, and look, it was a great 18-play first drive to go up 7-0 and basically take away, more than half of the quarter. But, you've seen teams be able to go down on that first possession, get points, and then get completely dominated. And that's the way it looked. And, I am completely blown away that when it was 31-7, it didn't get worse.
Yeah, I am too.
You got to give Notre Dame a lot of credit that they hung in there. The moment wasn't too big. And another thing, you look at coaching, they only had 3 penalties and 0 turnovers.
Yep. People were, hitting me up on the timeline. Y'all were tagged in it. Are these the 2 best teams in college football playing? We rarely get the 2 best teams playing for college basketball's national championship. What Ohio State accomplished in this journey, cut number 1, forget the seeding, okay? The final 8 teams in the college football playoff rankings, Ohio State beat everybody but Georgia, and they just didn't get a chance to play Georgia. They beat Oregon, Notre Dame, Texas, Tennessee, Penn State, and Indiana. They beat 6 of – they're one of the teams, so there's only 7 available teams you could beat in the final 8 college football playoff rankings. Forget the seeding. They beat all of them that they played in those rankings at some point this season. Here's Ryan Day on that journey.
God made it hard for a reason. And, you just never know what's in your path along the way. But this game can give you the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. It can take you to your knees some days as a player and as a coach. And I've been there before. And, for all those coaches or people who, are, on a journey to what they're looking to accomplish, if you're trying to achieve greatness, you're trying to become national champs in the most competitive environment there is in the entire world. I mean, there's nothing more competitive than college football, in my opinion. And it's going to be hard, and there's going to be things you'll learn along the way. But if you surround yourself with great people, you're resilient, and you believe in the guys around you, and you just keep fighting and keep putting one foot in front of the other, and you give yourself another chance. And that's really what it was. And you think, back we were in the stadium last time, and I couldn't quite come to grips for a while with, why we just didn't quite finish that game against Georgia. But I understand now. It all makes sense. And here we are, and I couldn't feel better.
What a wild year. Going into the season, he was 1-6 against top fives. And everybody's like, man, this guy can't win the big games. And he is the first to ever beat 5 top 5 teams in a year. And now he's 6-6, and now he's got a national championship. So the narrative has completely flipped in 1 year. And after the Michigan loss, nobody gave this guy a chance.
Boy, how much has that loss to Georgia eaten on him? I mean, he's in his finest moment as a coach right now, and he brings it up himself. I mean, that has eaten at him, hasn't it?
Oh, we talk about it a lot on the
show.
show.
Oh, it was a national champion. He cost himself a national championship. They would destroy TCU just like Georgia did.
Yep.
And
he got conservative like he did last night.
I know. You would have thought he learned his lesson, right, in the very same stadium. And I get it. When you're up 31-7 and a team can barely string together 2 first downs, you think, all right, the clock's manning me now. It's not Notre Dame. And so I understand. I understand looking at it and thinking that way. The one thing we can't do is stop the clock. But you don't account for turnovers. And they had the one turnover that flipped everything. I mean, without that turnover.
That was a fluke turnover, too.
It was.
Has been so good.
I know, and he's almost down. I mean, he is that close to his knee being down before the ball comes out.
Yeah, and the game probably does get out of hand if you don't have the fumble there.
That's right.
But, not only conservative, but, let's run Will Howard. Let's not give it to Quinshawn or Travion. Let's just run Will Howard.
By the way, Quinshawn was having a decent game.
Yeah, I mean.
Was he?
I think I might have given it to him as much as I could.
100-yard rushing, 3 total touchdowns.
Notre Dame couldn't stop him.
Yeah, I was going to ask you guys, they spent $20 million NIL money. By the way, some people say that number's actually bigger. And then others are saying nobody else in the country wanted to step up and say, oh, by the way, we spent $20 million too. Apparently the belief is Ohio State's not the only one that spends $20 million in NIL.
$20 million.
Just nobody else wanted to stand up and say, oh, yeah, we spend that much too. But,
well, it's very forgiving as long as you have the results you have at Ohio State.
If you don't lift the trophy, you don't want to admit you spent $20 million.
Quinshawn Judkins, was he the best value of what Caleb Downs was good. It's not easy to show up what Caleb Downs brings to the table.
He's one of the best defensive players in America.
I would say Caleb Downs.
Or was it Will Howard? I mean, I guess you didn't spend a ton of money on Will Howard, but
yeah, I don't know what they spent. Probably $800,000. I mean, he was better than I thought he would be. But when you surround him with that kind of skill, but I would say Caleb Downs was that guy.
What do you think they spent on Judkins?
Oh, Judkins, I bet they spent
probably about the same they spent on Howard, close to $1 million.
Yeah. What do you think they spent on Downs?
$1 million.
Okay, so probably $1 million for all three of those.
I bet they went 1.5 on Judkins.
Jeremiah Smith probably close to $1 million.
Well, that was well worth it.
Yeah.
I don't even.
But you see how little sometimes the receiver can impact you. They draw people to allow Tate and Ibuka to be open, but that big catch, 56 yards, got him over the total of 80. His personal total was like 79.5, I think.
I was on with our man Mosley yesterday, and I was like, I'm going to give your guys a free prop player winner, and this thing will fly over. It's Jeremiah Smith's over 81.5. And without that ballsy call there, it flies under.
The 3rd and 11 with 2:45 in the game on the line.
And they keep showing it right there.
Yeah. What a call.
I mean, that was 56 yards.
Do you think that was more Chip Kelly or Ryan Day? Obviously, Ryan Day had a thumbs up it, but do you think Chip Kelly's the one that called it?
I think Chip Kelly said, listen, we can be conservative here and give it back to them with basically 2 minutes left and them with no timeouts and put our defense out there and give them a chance to run down the field, or we can end it right here. Which way do you want to play?
I think, you're probably a couple things there, as Herb Street pointed out. If they blitz, you're going to get some one-on-ones somewhere, right? When the team blitzes, you're going to get somebody manned up. Now, I don't think in their wildest dreams they thought you're going to get Jeremiah Smith manned up with a free release.
Yeah.
But if I told Ryan Day, hey, play to win the national championship, Notre Dame's blitzing, you're getting Jeremiah Smith in man coverage with a free release. He throws that ball every time, doesn't he? When you think, if I tell him those facts, he calls that play every single time.
Because here's what happens. If it's intercepted, it's as good as your punt.
That's right. One down earlier, you didn't burn much more time, but you got a punt.
There's usually a better chance that the DB is going to panic and grab hold of it.
Correct. Game over
which
either
is
way.
a first down. Yep. That's game over. Or you're going to complete it. Or it's an incomplete and you punt.
Or are they the blitz gets home, you take a sack, the clock still runs and you punt.
The 30-yard or 33-yard field goal with 26 left, that thing was breaking right. And it just all of a sudden flew back.
It did.
Yeah, I thought for a minute, my God, they have done all this and missed the field goal.
Yeah. And killed the cover.
Or maybe lost the game.
At mybookie.ag promo code next round, I had two bets. I had the over, and then I had the Ohio State minus the points and an over in a parlay, which is always stupid, I know, to bet over in both. So, but both of them get home. It was a special lucky night.
I did not think Notre Dame was going to be able to score, so I was wrong there.
Yeah, but on that first drive, I was like, well, that was stupid, Jim, to take the over with Notre Dame, 18 plays, and they ate up almost the whole first quarter. So national champions for Ohio State. We'll talk more about that game as we move throughout the show. On the show, Stephen Pearl in the next segment to talk basketball with us. Auburn is a unanimous number one. We'll talk more about that coming up. And Todd Furman at 11 o'clock. He'll talk about the NFL playoff odds this weekend, odds to win the national championship next year in college football, and so much more. That is ahead on the show that is being brought to you by our friends at the World of Wills. Tell us about the World of Wills.
Well,
Brian.
it is coming to the BJCC. It's the O'Reilly Auto Parts World of Wills. Comes every single year, and it is a big event, and it will be January 31st through February 2nd this year down at the BJCC. You can go see everything, the exotic car exhibit, BMX bike stunt team performing outrageous live stunts each day. Kids can meet their favorite costume characters, race Hot Wheels on the free Hot Wheels drag track. Don't miss the Super Show with one-of-a-kind vehicles from across the country. Get your discount tickets today. O'Reilly Auto Parts Stores has those. And you can get all the details at worldofwills.net.
And our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing, Greg from Pell City and his wife's on a little vacation. Sent us a video today from the beach. But he also let me know that he just hired Antonio London II.
That's right.
Yeah, we got to meet him a couple weeks ago in the studio.
Played football down at South Alabama. Of course, his dad's a Bama legend.
Yeah, he said, hey, just throw out there that I hired Antonio London to perk up the ears of the Alabama fans. When you mention Storm Restoration Roofing, they will get the free no-cost roof inspection. The kids are in charge right now while Greg's down on a quick little vacation with the wife. Son-in-law, they're running the crews. They'll get up on the roof and give you a free, absolutely free, no-cost roof inspection. Greg will be back from Paradise this week, and he'll take back over the wheel. He'll have the con and get out there and take care of your house for you. 205-542-3531, 542-3531. Or Greg from Pell City on Facebook, A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. Here's the best thing he does for you, though. The free no-cost roof inspection, it's fantastic. But when he handles your insurance work for you, when he helps you walk through the insurance process because he knows all the guys who helps with the roofing claims, that is the best thing he does for you because filing with your insurance company is the pain in the you-know-what. Storm damage, roof replacement, insurance, roofing claims, everything, he does it. Greg from Pell City on Facebook or 205-542-3531. Locally owned, family-owned at Storm Restoration Roofing.
Did you guys see this Dan Wolken report?
Did not. What's Wolk reporting?
I'm not going to say I have him blocked.
Yeah, I don't have him blocked, but I don't seek him out.
Well, I stumbled across it this morning.
Was it about the Australian Open or college
football?
No. It's a 50-50 shot
Dan Wolken of USA Today said that he said it was a quote. Here was what he put on X: bizarre scenes from the Notre Dame locker room, players yelling at reporters, coaches warning people not to ask certain questions, amateur hour.
Yeah, I would have to be there to know what was going on.
Yeah, I find that kind of weird, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've been, for those that don't know, regular season, the locker rooms are not open anymore. They were when I started in the business back in the 1980s, early 90s, but then they closed the locker rooms and you have a post-game area, except when you get to the NCAA tournament and the national championship college football playoffs, and then they take certain players to the media room to be interviewed, and then the locker rooms are open for a certain period of time, mandated open by NCAA rules. And you go in there and you do interviews with anybody you want for usually it's an hour, 60 minutes. And in the losing locker room,
those
it's
are
very
tough.
somber,
Yeah.
and it can be.
I've seen it both ways.
I've seen it go heated.
Yep.
And I've seen it just be a lot of somber, anybody not wanting to talk, a lot of people standing back in the shower area, which is off limits,
Yep.
and not coming out.
Normally heated when they think they're going to win the game.
Yeah. And the general rule is if they've got their back to you in the locker, you leave them alone. So, most guys will play the game and either not talk or play the game and talk, and you just kind of go with it. I'm surprised that coaches would be warning reporters not to ask certain questions. That's out of line.
I don't know what the questions
I don't know
be.
either.
Yeah.
I know Al Golden was asked about going to the NFL. There's reports he's going to the Bengals. He wouldn't address that. You got Jim Knowles reports. I mean, it's could have an exodus from this game.
You could. I mean, a lot of talented coaches in the game like you are with the players. But I wanted to ask Will Howard's place now in Ohio State football history. Hired gun 1 year, but he's a national champion. I mean, this is the future of college football. So, I mean, really there's no difference in Will Howard and Cardale Jones, right?
I think there is.
Okay, explain.
Well,
because Cardale was recruited?
Well, because but Cardale only came in. Cardale played, 3 or 4 games? Yeah. I mean, Will Howard was the starter from day one.
Oh, so you're saying Will Howard's higher than
Yeah,
Cardale.
I would think Will Howard is Howard. Yeah, Will Howard is higher because Cardale maybe wasn't in that situation without really good quarterback play before him.
Yeah.
But Howard was the guy, from wire to wire for them. So I would say Howard is higher than Cardale Jones. But I brought that up when you guys were talking about if Riley Leonard won this. I was like, he's going to be better than Cardale Jones.
Not that this matters.
He's better than Craig Krenzel.
Yeah, I'm just talking about as in Ohio State fandom.
Yeah.
This is sort of a.
Did Schleister win the two that Well, I don't know if Schleister won any. When Archie Griffin won back-to-back Heismans, did they win a national championship? I need to find it. Can you pull when there's one? So they've got 7 national championships. I know Krenzel. I know Troy Smith. No, Troy Smith didn't win one.
Not to be the Alabama fan on the panel.
Oh, boy.
Some circles say they have 9.
Okay. What year did Archie go back to back?
73, 74, I think.
No, they did not.
It was Notre Dame, Alabama in 73. 74, I think, was Notre Dame. May have been 74, 75.
Yeah, I don't even know who their other national. I know Cardale, Craig Krenzel, and now Will Howard, but I don't know the other 3.
Well, Woody Hayes won 54, 57, 61, 68, 70. So you're going to have to go pretty deep to find out who the quarterbacks were there. None of them I can remember. Obviously, I wasn't alive for any of those.
But I don't think Schleicher was Archie's quarterback, right?
I don't know.
I think that was after that.
Yeah. Archie won the Heisman in 74 and 75. So I thought Schleister was like early 80s.
Let me rephrase my question. I think what I'm asking is you bring somebody who is Kansas State's quarterback in. He's your quarterback for 1 year, but he's a national champion now. How does he rank in Ohio State history? Not as quality of quarterback, but is he a Buckeye forever, I guess?
Yeah, I think he is.
Yeah.
I think Cardale is. I mean, just to be able to come in with such a this was such a pressure-packed year for the entire program.
Yeah.
And for Will Howard. I mean, Will Howard said it back in the summer. Hey, it's natty or bust.
I think some of that is dependent on how you finish your career as well. Like, will Will Howard play in the NFL?
He'll play in the NFL. I don't know if he'll play.
Yeah.
He'll draw a check in the NFL.
Yeah.
You don't know if he'll play.
Yeah. I guess by our old days we would joke, is it Will Howard, Ford, Dodge, Chrysler,
That's right.
Jeep, Cherokee, all those down at the corner of Columbus and Vine.
Yeah, I mean, I feel good that Will Howard will be on a roster. Riley Leonard might be playing for Skip Holtz.
Do they ever say, all right, we're back here at Buckeye Stadium. Will Howard's our analyst today. Will, that first quarter went well for the Buckeyes.
Exactly.
I mean, what happens to Will Howard? I think when you're the most recent national championship winning quarterback,
you got options.
And I feel like you're always, if you haven't done something to screw it up, you're always the most popular one. It's the way I feel.
That's right.
Like Jay was very, very popular because he won the first Alabama national championship in a long time. I mean, Alabama had been in the desert for a minute.
Yeah, 17 years.
Yeah, I know. It sounds crazy to say they'd been in the desert. It was only 17 years. But it had been a minute since Alabama had won a championship, and Jay, was always popular because he did that.
Actually, it was only 13 years.
Okay.
17 after that, between Thunder and
yeah, and then when Greg did it, Oh, that's the first time they'd won. They'd really been in the desert then. That had been in the desert starving to death, right? But then after that, it started getting chopped up pretty good, right? And all those guys don't get viewed the same. I think Will Howard he'll always have that place because he brought you back. And until somebody else wins one, I think he'll be one of the most popular players in Ohio State history. That's a pretty storied history.
Yeah, very good for Will Howard, and it worked there. One more thing on the national championship game. After Brownie tells us about our friends at JohnstonRVCenter.com, a tremendous way to go see America in 2025 is with a Johnston RV. Just think about family time and how you can go enjoy that. Or maybe it's you and your wife. Want to get out, the kids are out of the house, maybe you're empty nester now, go see America.
Well, and good news is they're clearing out the 24s to make room for the 25s at Johnston RV Center. That means the Shasta 16RE, just $149 a month with approved credit. If you want something a little bigger, the Avenger 29 QBS, room to sleep up to 10, $279 a month with approved credit. And they've got a lifetime warranty on every single thing that is new or qualifying pre-owned at Johnston RV Center. I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur, always online, JohnstonRVCenter.com.
Stephen Pearl in the next segment. Before we go to break, though, here, one job. You got one job, and I felt so bad for this young lady last night in the tunnels at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It's an extended golf cart.
It's a big golf cart.
You've got Will Howard, you've got Ryan Day, and one other player,
Boom!
Jack Sawyer there, and she breaks the axle on the wall. It won't go now. And they have to get out and walk the rest of the way.
I love she's laughing, and so he's like, that's a $10,000 golf cart.
Ryan Day got a little whiplash, too.
Yeah.
I mean, he was not I think the players kind of saw it coming and braced themselves, and Ryan Day was looking away, and it caught him by surprise.
Oh, dude, he got dumped out the Gatorade. He got shaken around.
I know.
He was getting thrown all over the place.
Will and Jack laughing. Ryan is getting high fives. And on down the tunnel, the one I saw, Will actually looked back. It was actually Simone Sessions had the video of Will walking by her and saying, Coach Day, you okay? Looking back and laughing.
Do you think any of those players are still awake?
Maybe. Yeah, just stay up straight to the flight home.
I would think so.
Why
Maybe. Big Jack Sawyer fan, man. If you're watching on game day, that the story about the other Jack Sawyer kid who died of childhood cancer and what he had done for that family, it was a tearjerker. When we come back, Auburn basketball history again. They're unanimously number one in the country. We'll talk to Stephen Pearl. They don't play again until Saturday, but it's a biggie. Basketball when we come back right here on your home for football. You ready? 214 days to the start of the college football season. This is the next round.
Follow LT on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie-cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
It's the O'Reilly Auto Parts World of Wheels, January 31st through February 2nd at the BJCC with customs, classics, hot rods, and more. Check out the exotic lineup in the Supercar South Hall, sponsored by Mob Inc. And don't miss the BMX stunt team performing outrageous stunts live. Friday only meet All Elite wrestler Christian Cage. Saturday it's Bill Carlton from Texas Metal. And Sunday meet Oscar from The Office. Bring the kids for free Hot Wheels racing, costume characters, rides, and more. Get discount tickets at all O'Reilly Auto Parts stores. Details at worldofwheels.net.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
It's time to pull the trigger on the Next Round merch that you've been eyeing. We know there's a lot to choose from at nextround.store, so here's a few of our favorite picks. If you want to match LT and Brown, go with the TNR logo hoodie and throw in one of Dunaway's favorite hats. Any of them will do. The Backroom's go-to is the classic logo t-shirt, while my personal favorite is the light blue TNR crew neck. All of these items can be found at nextround.store and are EG approved. Rest assured, your order will be packed with lots of love from us here at the Next Round. Head over to nextround.store to start filling up your cart. By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season. Do you need some refreshed college wear to represent your team this year? Shop Roback's Game Day collection that includes both Alabama and Auburn. From quarter zips to hoodies, Roback has it all. Get 20% off on us using code TNR20 at roback.com.
Listen, I don't know if Bruce Pearl has any tattoos at all. Right?
Right.
But if he doesn't, the word history needs to be tattooed somewhere on Bruce's body.
You say this why?
Because he's always talking about history. And then yesterday, first of all, bracketology, everybody's bracketology. Auburn's the number one overall seed, number one overall 1 seed. Well, yesterday the new AP poll comes out, and Auburn is unanimously the number one team in the country. And as Bruce likes to say, it's history. That's the first time ever Auburn's been the unanimous number one team in the country.
I honestly didn't think we would see a unanimous number one this year.
Well, when 18 teams lose in the top 25 just last week, it's easy. It's not easy to vote, but it's easier it's a clearer path on who's number one.
Well, Stephen Pearl is with us, the associate head coach of those Auburn Tigers. They are unanimous number one in the country and have a midweek bye here, so a little rest for the Tigers. Welcome in, Coach. How are you today? We're muted. You're muted, Coach. Sorry. He's got baby.
My bad. Doing well.
You got baby.
How you guys doing?
You got baby brain. You've been up late with a baby or something.
I got baby duty this morning.
Look at that. That is awesome.
Oh, very good.
That is so cool.
Yeah, not to jinx it, being very, very good though.
I know.
Yeah.
She is good.
Can you just hold her up one more time so Taylor can edit out our audio a little bit later on and she can put the Lion King in? The theme right there. Yeah. I hope the wife's not in the room right now.
Hey, you've talked about it. You're a numbers nerd. Dunaway just said it for the first time in the history of the Auburn program. You guys are unanimous number one. I mean, does that mean something to you?
I mean, yeah, you guys talked about it. You know, BP always talks about making history, and that's just another, example of, making history at Auburn. To be a unanimous number one, team in the country. You talked about how many good teams there are this year that, you would expect there not to be a unanimous number one. I think the last time there was a unanimous number one was UConn last year at some point. It just speaks to the body of work that we put together. 10 quad one wins by January 18th. I think the SEC record is 10. I think the NCAA regular season record is 15. So, obviously it's special and, it speaks volumes of the work these guys have done. But, obviously, as you know, it only gets harder from here.
Yeah, Tennessee coming to town College game day, so you Auburn fans at Neville early in the morning for the College game day, and then back at night for the contest with Tennessee as these two powerhouses meet up. Janai Broome, been very animated, leadership on the bench. Is he going to start practicing? Is he able to do things in practice, whether or not you make a game time decision or not? But is he starting to practice some?
Not yet. He's out of his boot, so that's progress. And I would imagine, as the week goes on, he'll continue to rehab his ankle with our training staff and our strength and conditioning staff, and just kind of see, what his pain tolerance is and what his level of comfort is. And, we leave that totally up to him. If the doctors say he's cleared and Janai doesn't think that he can be 100%, then we don't want Janai to go. We don't want Janai to come back until Janai is ready to come back. So, it's obviously the bye week is happening at a good time for him and for us. Obviously, it's a little early. I think us and maybe Kentucky are the first ones to get byes this year. So it's the earliest bye in the SEC season, which makes for a longer end of your season. But as far as just getting healthy, obviously it's a good timing for Janai, good timing for our team to kind of get ready for this second half stretch of the season. So it's really on Janai if he feels comfortable enough to try and give it a go in practice, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday leading up to the game, and then we'll decide from there.
So you played at Georgia without him. You win the game, but that had to be the longest final possession you have ever lived through. I mean, Georgia, it felt like they were on that end of the court for half an hour.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was a crazy last 50 seconds. We're up 7, and Tahad Pettiford, who's missed one free throw or two, at that point had missed 3 free throws all year, goes to the line for a 1-and-1, and he misses the front end. If you had told me with 50 seconds left, we're up 7 with Tahad at the line, I feel like the game's, pretty much in hand. And for it to, get to that point, we're up 3 and Miles gets trapped in the corner, gets his arm taken off, but, you can't go run to the corner. That's not where you're supposed to be in pressure, offense. And they end up getting a 3 ball off, and, then they get to the free throw line, and obviously we know they're going to try and miss the second one. And, the clock starts a little bit late and the ball goes out and they get 0.3, and, they get a really good look. Now with 0.3 seconds, you can't actually catch the ball and shoot it. So even if Newell had made that shot, it wouldn't have counted, because all you can do at that point is tip the ball. But you're right. The last 0.6 seconds of that game took like 60 minutes and took a few years off our lives. But, all wins on the road are good wins, especially against a Georgia team who hadn't lost at home this year. So to go in there without Janai, Chad Baker is like 1 for 8 in the first half. Chaney Johnson goes 1 for 9 in the game. If you had told me that before the game, a couple of those stats, I wouldn't have believed that we could go in there and win that game. But Tahad Pettiford comes in and, just plays the way he plays and hits the shots that he hits. And then Jaheim Hudson coming off the bench, giving us some huge minutes at the 4 and the 5 spot, made some really, really, really big plays defensively. Just a great example of a kid that just stays right and stays ready and waits for his number to get called. And he comes in and essentially helps us win the game.
You love to make fun of my age, so I'll point this out. You probably don't know the history, but even the 1972 U.S. Olympic team thought the clock was mismanaged at the end of the Georgia game there. That was a long 0.6 seconds.
There's no doubt.
From your vantage point, though, when LeFew let that thing go from the corner, on TV, it looked like that thing was down.
He's a great shooter. Got a really clean look at it. And, that was worst case scenario. But, that's life in the SEC. That's life on the road. Things like that are going to happen. It's just, it's really hard to close out games. Obviously you want to try and be aggressive in certain spots, but when you're playing on a lead, the other team has got really good players too, and they're obviously pressing to make shots and make plays, and that's what they were doing. So our guys did a good job of, we led for 39 minutes in a tough road environment. That they finally got that place going as far as their home court environment. And, our guys did a really good job of stepping up to the call and going in there and, executing the game plan and finishing the game.
Stephen Pearl, the associate head coach of Auburn basketball, with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Have you been surprised at the amount of road wins in this conference so far this year? I mean, it seemed like it was going to be near impossible, but it feels like through the first few weeks we've seen more than I thought we would see.
Yeah, I mean, it just speaks to the depth and the breadth of the league, and how many good teams there are. Quality teams are able to go out on the road and win games. I really do believe that while the numbers speak to it, the SEC is just head above the rest, and that just shows, like you said, when teams are able to go into these tough environments and get big wins. For us in Tennessee to both go down to Texas, who we obviously know is super talented, to both get a win on the road. To go into Georgia, Alabama goes into Kentucky. It's just Missouri goes to Florida. I mean, Missouri, a team that we had down 26 in the first half at home, end up winning that game by 16. They've won 4 in a row.
Yep.
And they're ranked in the top 25. And Georgia got back-to-back top 25 wins a week ago. Ole Miss goes to Alabama. The Ole Miss and Missouri wins are, probably 2 of the best wins in the country, just to go into those tough environments and win games against top 10 teams. So obviously the league is a monster this year, and there's so many good teams, and, every single night, you got to bring it, because anyone's capable of being anyone on any given night.
Yeah, like Alabama's got Vanderbilt tonight. They've been a surprise. Missouri knocking off Florida last week. They're undefeated at home. I mean, how good are those teams nobody's talking about?
I mean, Vandy, they've done a great job of obviously rebuilding and getting good players. Mississippi State, who plays Tennessee tonight, went to Vandy and won pretty convincingly. And then, you see Vandy turns around and beat Tennessee. Missouri, we knew that Missouri was obviously super talented, and had a lot of really good pieces and good players, and they've shown that to this point. So, it just speaks to what the, people predicted at the bottom of our league, how good they are. South Carolina, almost beats us at home, So, I mean, there's really no, 12 through 16 in our league. Everyone's really good, and everyone's got players and really good coaching and really good game plans. And when you get into conference play, what doesn't get talked about enough is we all know what the other team's doing, and they know what we're doing better than anyone. So once you get into games, it's a rock fight every single night, because they're prepared for what we're doing. We're prepared for what they're doing. And it's just a matter of, attrition and just, trying to stay healthy and get to the season and, be able to, keep your composure late in these games and finish them out.
As Little T calls him, primetime Pettiford. If I remember the recruiting correctly, it came down to UConn and Auburn, and Auburn gets him, obviously, and you drag him from up in the Northeast. What was what when he finally made a decision? What was the selling point? Why did he pick Auburn, and did you know instantly he was going to have this impact?
Yeah, I mean, Ira Bowman, who was his lead recruiter, is from that area and does a phenomenal job in recruiting. And, I think what Tahad looked at was he looked at our history of success with guards his size. You look at guys like Jared Harper, you look at guys like Wendell Green, you look at Sharif Cooper, you look at Javon McCormick, you look at those guys and the, things that we were able to help them do, and the things they did for us, and the system that we have. It's shown that, we have success with smaller guards in the SEC, and those guys have been able to be all conference players and have a lot of success in our system. So he looked at that on film and instantly saw himself in that role, and obviously was able to, come in and do exactly what we thought he would do, is, come in and obviously offensively be really elite, really special, and understand that, coming to Auburn, he would have to work on his defense and obviously continue to get better and play at a different level. And that's what BP asked for, his guard specifically, is to guard at a really high level. And that's something that Tahad's continue to improve and work on. But I think, the blueprint and just the film of what we showed of guys similar to him, over the past 6 or 7 years, we had a guy on every single team that looks a lot like him, plays a lot like him. But he's just doing it at a level that, obviously, we hadn't seen before. So he's obviously in big games, had some of his biggest moments and some of his biggest step up. And we don't go on the road and beat Georgia, without his performance on Saturday.
So obviously your next game is Tennessee. It's been an interesting team. We know how you and BP feel about this game. That backcourt is awful good. What do you see when you watch the Vols play? I mean, Rick Barnes has been doing this a long time. He's obviously got a brand of basketball.
Yeah, no, I mean they have four really, really good guards. Ziegler, who I feel like has been at Tennessee since I was at Tennessee. I know. Teammates my senior year.
Old roommate.
Yeah, no, that was my roomie back at Gibbs Hall. I mean, man, what a winning player, just impacts winning in all the right ways. Averaging 7.5 assists per game. And, obviously when he needs to score it, he scores it. And you kind of see that in some of their games this year. Meshack is one of the best on-ball defenders in all of college basketball. Their defense is just super stout and super physical, and they have good shot blockers and good length and good athleticism. And, obviously, you look at the transfer portal and what they've been able to do. And to get a guy like Lanier to come in from North Florida and be averaging 18 points per game. And he's in a little bit of a shooting slump right now, but, he's unbelievably dangerous and super talented. So by the numbers, this is one of their best teams. They're top 3 in the country in defensive efficiency, and then they're top 25 in offensive efficiency. So they have a lot of pieces. They play really hard. They're playing an 8-man rotation. So I think for us, it's about handling their ball pressure because, Ziegler and Meshack are going to pick up our guards, for 94 feet for 40 minutes and try and bother them into turnovers. And then their bigs do a great job of rotating to block shots, and they rotate to strip and rip the basketball. So, I mean, they just do a lot of really, really good things and things that are difficult to guard. And, for us, it's about, limiting our turnovers offensively, and then defensively, not letting Lanier, get going offensively, and not letting Ziegler kind of get out there and just facilitate the ball to their guys. So will be a really good test for us. Obviously, I'm glad we get a week of rest leading into that game, because I think it's going to be a fist fight, because they bring it every single night. And obviously, after a tough loss at Vanderbilt, they're going to be looking to get 2 back this week, starting with Mississippi State tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough stretch for the State and Auburn, and you get the bye. That is very beneficial, no doubt. All right, Coach, we appreciate the time. Good to see Laney. Glad Laney's doing well, and we always enjoy talking with you.
Baby's first snow today.
That's right. Oh, yeah, y'all getting snow?
Well, I mean, it's supposed to come this afternoon. Nothing yet, but yeah, we're hoping Laney gets to experience a little snow, and yeah, so it's good. We're off today, and university's shut down. So, you guys getting anything up there?
No, we're going to miss it this time. But, my daughter's a student at South Alabama, and they are expecting.
They're getting hammered, I'm sure.
Yeah, they're getting 5 inches in
That's
Mobile.
crazy.
I mean, it's
That's
insane.
Wild.
Like I saw James Spann, with the local weather guys, tweeted this morning, that Lafayette, Louisiana was under a blizzard warning for the first time in history. I mean, think about that for a second. Lafayette, Louisiana, a blizzard warning. It's insane.
That's crazy.
Yep. All right, Coach, thank you. Good to see you.
All right, fellas. Appreciate you guys. War Eagle.
All right, take care. That is Stephen Pearl, the associate head coach of the Auburn Tigers, with us at this time each week on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.
You mentioned Span. It's another Span day for the kids.
I know.
Yeah. Well, good thing now it's e-learning day,
e-learning,
so you don't have to make these up.
That's right.
Yeah, you do your work at the house.
But you knew what was going to happen, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I was walking through the grocery store when I got the call from the school yesterday.
Yeah. Might as well be safe, man.
Well,
hey, kids don't care.
Kids don't care.
Yeah.
I appreciate James doing it.
Yeah, why not? I mean, it's hard for parents who both work, and you got to scramble and get somebody to keep them and pick them up and this and that. But
I'm telling you, we will remember Span for all of his accomplishments.
Yep.
Kids for the next generation will remember him for the Span days.
That's right.
Yeah.
Thank you for getting us out of school, just predicting snow.
yeah, the next generation doesn't want some hard-ass weather guy.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not going to snow. Do not cancel school. Grumpy grump. All right. Nate Oates, thoughts on tonight's game in Tuscaloosa against Vandy, after we tell you about our friends at Michelson Laser Vision.
Yeah, make the phone call that I made. It will be 22 years this April when I got the procedure done. 205-969-8100. Very important. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. She is going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. You have 0 to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. If you wear the contacts, you wear the glasses, you're wasting money each and every year. I'm speaking from experience. Make the phone call that I made, 205-969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business, 205-969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
All right, so Alabama gets that Vanderbilt team that just beat Tennessee this weekend. They're 3-2 in the league. Bama's 4-1 in the league. SEC Network, 6 o'clock tonight, weather permitting. barring a little wobble from the front. Little T and I will be at the game this evening. Here is Nate Oates on a practice yesterday that didn't go well.
Oh, no.
And Nate Oates, cut number 5, Tyler. Nate Oates brought up Ole Miss again last week at this practice. He was late for his news conference, and he was not happy with the way practice had gone yesterday.
I told him last week on my end, I'm going to hold them a little bit more accountable, and I think they're seeing that I'm serious about it. So thought the defensive effort in practice picked up because we're not having a repeat of what we had last week. So I think you'll see a lot better effort out of the group starting the game out. We talked about it as a team before, like some leadership, some accountability, and then we got to develop the right habits. You know, we need some leadership on the team to make sure that everybody's locked in, playing hard. We need some accountability when you're not. And then you develop the right habits in practice. Today we practiced a little longer than I planned because we had to get it right.
Ooh, had to get right.
Not having a repeat leadership, he brings that up. The bottom line is that Ole Miss beat them in Coleman last week with defense, forcing turnovers, not letting them get shots up. Vanderbilt just happens to be number 1 in the country in points off turnovers.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're 8th right now in turnover rate. And Mark Byington, nobody knows who this guy is, first-year Vanderbilt coach. I mean, he's done a good job. They're sitting at 15-3 overall, 3-2 in conference. They're coming off a win over number 6 Tennessee.
He's from the Sun Belt, but I don't know where he coached.
No, I can narrow it down.
Couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
You know, 4 starters with averaging double figures, you know, led by Jason Edwards, 17 points per game. But if they can turn you over, they typically turn those turnovers into points. And this is a Vanderbilt team that's going to be coming in with a lot of confidence after that Tennessee win.
Now, they are 69th in the KenPom and the adjusted defensive efficiency. So, you know, that is much closer to Kentucky than it is Ole Miss. So that's good news for you that you're not facing the defensive squad, at least based on KenPom, which we put a lot of faith in, obviously. You're not facing the same defensive squad you faced against Ole Miss.
But here is a developing storyline, okay, for this Alabama team. They lost at home to Ole Miss. Then they go on the road where you just road team Power 6. JG Trends has projected it since 2013. It's a 36% proposition when you're on the road. All Power Conference versus Power Conference road game, it's 36%. So you're against the all odds when you're on the road. They get to win at Rupp. Joe Lunardi's new bracketology just dropped.
Just now. Okay.
Auburn's the number 1 overall seed. Duke is the second number 1 seed.
Duke back to number 1 in the KenPom. So the metrics are going to keep those two neck and neck all year long, it appears.
It's Auburn, it's Duke, and the number 3 overall seed in the country is Alabama. Right now in our state, Auburn and Alabama are 1 seeds in the tournament. And if Duke stumbles somewhere between February 15th, there's a chance we could, at least right now, have 2 number 1 seeds playing each other in Tuscaloosa the first of 2 meetings, and there's a possibility of us maybe even in the AP poll of having 1 versus 2 in Tuscaloosa coming. This is historic times. This is revelation-like stuff in basketball terms.
In the time?
Yeah, this is locust.
Yeah.
This is seas burning.
It is.
Floods and rivers.
Unfortunately, regular season doesn't matter, though.
Yeah,
it does not.
It doesn't.
Can you imagine a national championship between Alabama and Auburn?
You got to be kidding me.
And basketball?
So between now and then, Duke is at Wake. What date is the Bama-Auburn game?
February the 15th.
15th.
Yeah, Wake's a tricky game. Wake's got North Carolina tonight.
Yeah, Wake's 6-1 in the ACC.
Remember,
for whatever that's worth.
We did the exhibition game with Alabama. Yeah. They were picked to be top 3 in the ACC. That's a good basketball
team. Yeah, they're
team.
right there. They're at 6-1. So only Duke is undefeated in that league. They got NC State, who is taking on water. They're not good. They got North Carolina, who's not very good, and that's in Cameron Indoor. At the Cuse, at Clemson, Cal between now and then.
Yep.
I mean, I guess they could drop one of those. You're right. Wake may be the toughest one as I just scroll through this. Probably is the toughest one they got.
Yeah, Duke's really good. They're not going to go anywhere. Iowa State's the other number 1 seed right now. And then you go to the 2 line, you find Tennessee and Florida. On the 3 line, you get Kentucky. And on the 4 line, you get Ole Miss and Mississippi State. So just in the top 16 seeds, you see all the SEC teams we're talking about. And the Vanderbilt team that's in Tuscaloosa tonight, by the way, They are still they're in the tournament with a bye. That's how solid they're in the tournament right now, according to bracketologist Joe Lenardi. So, a good basketball team in Tuscaloosa tonight in an unbelievable historic conference. A guarantee from a freshman after we tell you about our friends at New Life Art. I don't know. Has Daniel A. Moore ever painted a basketball?
Yeah,
or
I
anything?
think he did the Petway shot.
Did he?
I don't know if he's done an Auburn one. I think he did the Petway shot.
Yeah, the one that won the regular season championship
Against Florida, yeah. I think he did that one. Yeah. I don't know that he did anything on the Final Four last year, but wouldn't put it past him.
DanielMooreArt.com, DanielMooreArt.com to get the great football prints and anything else he's done in his career. DanielMooreArt.com. That's the legend right there, a tribute to Coach Nick Saban's 6 national championship seasons. You can see all the works right now. Don't forget the promo code TNR. Get a coupon code there for a discount. TNR right there. It is a tribute to Coach Nick Saban. DanielMooreArt.com. DanielMooreArt.com. Here is the painting that Brownie was talking about.
There's old Petway. Look at old Pet laying it in, the Kennesaw State head coach.
Oh, Petway's bigger in painting.
He is.
Yeah. He's a Greek god.
Didn't that buzzer go off right after?
Right after. Buzzer goes off. Court gets stormed. Bama won the regular season.
Yeah, so Alabama does storm the courts in basketball.
They did in that game. As I remember it, I could be wrong, but as I remember it.
A lot of people were on the court. I don't know if they officially call it a court storming.
Okay.
Cut 6, if you will. Last night on Hey Coach, LeBaron Philon, who Nate Oates yesterday complimented for getting back into the gym and putting up shots, and his shot came back, were rewarded with good shots at Kentucky. I think that was Nate's way of saying that maybe LeBaron had not been shooting enough in his own free time going into the Ole Miss game. But Philon, as our man Ron Slay likes to say, had a guarantee last night on Hey Coach, the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Listen in.
What message do you give, if any, to Alabama fans for this one and really for the rest of the year?
We're not losing at home no more. I just got to start there. We lost to Ole Miss last Tuesday, but we just gonna be ready, and we're gonna have a lot of fire, and we're gonna be ready to play tomorrow.
Okay.
No more losses at home this year.
Well, he said tomorrow. We're not gonna lose at home tomorrow.
I thought he said play it again.
Play it again. I thought it was this season.
This season? I thought he just said tomorrow. Okay, go ahead. Play it again.
What message do you give, if any, to Alabama fans for this one and really for the rest of the year?
We're not losing at home no more. I just got to start there. We lost to Ole Miss last Tuesday, but we just gonna be ready, and we're gonna have a lot of fire, and we're gonna be ready to play tomorrow.
He said no more. I thought he said tomorrow.
Yeah, and Chris set it up in the rest of the year, and then he said no more.
Okay, my apologies. I heard no more is tomorrow.
Okay, so Chris did play the role of the reporter poolside with Joe Namath, setting him up perfectly to say we're not going to lose at home anymore. I guarantee it.
You've still got Georgia as a different team at home, but Auburn, Kentucky, Mississippi State, and Florida.
Yeah,
they're going to lose one of those.
That's a series of tough games there.
Lance is going in.
LeBaron probably has more money than me now with his NIL, but I'd be willing to wager they drop one.
Okay,
that's probably against NCAA rules. If there's not a thick rule book anymore, but that's probably somewhere on there.
You have to say probably on that one. There's no probably there.
6 o'clock tonight in Tuscaloosa, Coleman Coliseum, and hopefully a fired-up, different-looking Alabama team than the last time you saw them in Coleman Coliseum against Ole Miss. We get back to football. When we come back, Todd Furman joins us at 11 o'clock to talk about the playoffs. And what now?
Why is Furman? Furman's not on today.
Is he not?
No.
I did think that was weird when you said that, but I was just rolling along with it.
We got Clay Travis.
Clay Travis is
Clay
next.
Travis is up next?
Yeah.
I must have looked at an old one.
You must have.
Was Furman on with Stephen Pearl at some point this year?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, so Clay Travis is up next. Are we doing the same show?
I would think. You're doing Friday's show, though, if Furman's coming up.
I thought maybe you got Furman on to react to the second time. At least you caught it the second time I said it on the show.
This is going back to when we had national championship matchups on a Thursday night.
Yeah, that's right. You're still thinking it was a Thursday night game.
Yeah, I'll go see in my text where I got that from. I don't think I read Clay Travis and thought Todd Furman, two very different people, though they are the two people that used to rarely join us on video. They don't.
They don't join us on video. Now, Clay has improved, and I've gotten a lot of compliments on this out and about. People like Clay on the Zoom. Just Zoom audio, so we'll do that.
I was thinking that Clay maybe post-inauguration hangover today.
But but he has not told me he can't come on. So.
All right, so we'll talk to Clay next when we come back on the show. No Todd Furman today. He'll be with us at a later time. Stay with us.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
If renting is putting a dent in your bank account, here's your sign from the universe that it's time to buy a new home. And who better to help you through the ins and outs of home buying than our friends at Mortgage Right. With Mortgage Right, you don't have to worry about becoming a short-notice mortgage expert because they do all the heavy lifting for you. They're trusted mortgage professionals, and they'll help you choose the right mortgage option and stand by your side every step of the way. Visit mortgageright.com/TNR to buy before renting runs you dry. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender. Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by, ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of NextRoundLive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
From the creators of The Next Round comes 2 new sites, CoverCrimson.com and TheBarnAuburn.com. 2 team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. CoverCrimson.com or TheBarnAuburn.com. Sign up today.
Happy football season. At The Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant Denny or Jordan Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out TheBarnAuburn.com and CoverCrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
The World Wide Web is a large place. Find all your favorite people and content in the same spot. NextRoundLive.com is full of wonderful tidbits about the show you know and love. Find our gear, listen to your favorite personalities, follow our socials, and enjoy your trip to NextRoundLive.com.
Hang out with The Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out The Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Hour number 2, where we may get a little Brown backtracking. Apparently, there could be a chance that Todd Furman and Clay Travis show up on this segment about the same.
He is so desperate to have not made a mistake here.
I'm
It was the weirdest mistake.
We'll see if Clay jumps on with us post-inauguration last night. Until then, we'll roll on with the conversation at hand that Ohio State is your national champions in football and everything going on a show that's being brought to you today by our friends at Hemphill Services. They bring you Lance's Lock every day, lanceslock.com. Basketball action tonight includes the game in Tuscaloosa, but also Mississippi State and Tennessee is a fun one. SMU, LT, ends up being pretty good at basketball, too. Louisville 7-1 in the league on the road in Dallas against a 5-2 in the ACC SMU team in a fun game tonight.
And I've got that game up. We've got 10 college plays up and available, 1 NBA play coming off a 2-1. Another winning day for you last night with the national champions, Ohio State. Jump on board and win with us. Always brought to you by our friends at Hemphill Services. Whether you experience any plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, ready to serve you. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Tell them the next round sent you. 205-229-2090. Hard to stop a train. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
Speaking of betting and everything, Ohio State's your national champions. Bet MGM, our friends at mybookie.ag. All the odds for next year's national champions. Ohio State is your favorite right now at plus 4.5. So 4.5 to 1.
Zero value there.
Yep.
Yeah.
There was a time, like, I didn't even realize this. I was checking my balance at MyBookie, and I had put in a $100 bet on the Rams that I completely forgot about at 70 to 1 when I guess they got.
Oh.
Yeah. And so it showed up as I was like, damn, where did this minus 100 come from? And I pulled it back up, and it was 100 to win 7,000. And I didn't even realize it. So I wouldn't have realized it until after the season.
Yeah, you already took that loss hard enough.
But but my point there is, like once the Rams lost a couple of games, Ohio State is going to lose a game next year. Wait till they lose a game. That's when you get value. When Ohio
my gosh, they lost 2 this year and won the national
I was going to say, when they lost
championship.
to Michigan, what do you think their odds were? 20 to 1, probably?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have been in a 14 playoff, the 12-team playoff lets Ohio State get in the tournament, and all you have to do is change formats, and they'll win it for you. We changed to a 14 playoff in 2014. They were the champs. Changed to a 12-team. They win it again last night. Texas with Arch is next. Then Oregon, Georgia, and Penn State. All of those under 10 to 1. You got to go next to Notre Dame at 12.5 to 1. Alabama's next at 15.5 to 1.
I would feel better about taking a flyer on Alabama than Notre Dame.
Yeah,
I would agree with you on that.
But you brought something up in break, and we haven't talked about it, and I guess we'll get to it. The final AP rankings.
Oh.
Yeah, the final AP poll is out in college football, voted on by the media, of course, and they hate the South. I'm kidding. Ohio State is number 1, Notre Dame is 2, Oregon 3, Texas 4, Penn State 5, Georgia 6. Arizona State 7, Boise 8, Tennessee 9, Indiana 10. Stop me when you notice a name missing.
No, we're outside the top 10 now.
Ole Miss is 11, SMU is 12, BYU is 13, Clemson is 14, Iowa State is 15, Illinois is 16, Alabama in at 17, one spot ahead of Miami, South Carolina, Syracuse at 20, rounding out the top 25 for the giggles. Army 21, Missouri 22, UNLV 23, Memphis 24, and the Buffs of CU at 25.
Okay, for anybody that was critical of my D grade for Kalen DeBoer in year 1, 17th with 4 losses, and just name some teams that should never finish in front of Alabama. How many were there?
Illinois, Iowa State, BYU, SMU, in my
Indiana.
heart, Ole Miss, Indiana, in my heart, Tennessee, but that's not really, Boise State, Arizona State.
Yeah, there's 9 teams that finished in front of you. You had 4 losses, and you finished 17th. That is I don't even know what to call that.
I don't either.
Below average, right?
Yeah.
It's a D.
All right, Clay Travis joins us now, the founder of Outkick, with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Welcome in, Clay. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are y'all?
Doing fantastic. Thanks a lot. I know you were at inaugural balls and whatnot last night, as one does. How much of the championship game did you get to watch?
I watched up until the point where Ohio State went up 28-7, and I felt like, okay, this thing's over. So I did not watch really anything after that. Once they took a 20-plus point lead or whatever, I felt pretty confident that they were not going to choke that away. So they had a bunch of television set up in the ball that I was in. So I was paying attention. It wasn't like I was listening to the audio or anything, but fortunately, like you guys, I've watched enough games that I don't really need anybody to tell me what's going on.
Okay, Clay, it almost became the biggest meltdown in the history of college football. And I want to ask you this because we brought it up. Obviously, coming into the season, Ryan Day, some people would say he was on a hot seat after the Michigan loss. Some people said he was on a hot seat. If he would have lost to Tennessee round one, some people would have said he lost his job. They're up 31-7, a little over 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. Then Notre Dame starts the comeback. If Ohio State blows a 31-7 lead with roughly 18 minutes on the clock, do you think Ryan Day can go from having trophy in hand to getting fired?
I don't think so. I think it would have been hard because they would have won 3 games by double digits. I think a lot of the players would have gotten blame when you give up a 24-point lead or 28-point lead. Most of the time, the coach, yes, gets blamed, but also there's so much collapse around them. What I think the biggest sort of narrative storyline from college football playoff 12 teams is it's just a totally different world. And what I mean by that is college football fans are going to have to really readjust to, hey, the goal is to go 10-2. I'm in DC right now. Look at what happened with Washington. They go out and they get into the playoffs. If they beat the Eagles on NFC Championship game, the earlier 2 games, it'll be the third game that they're playing. No one will care about the earlier 2 games at all. I think that's probably the biggest swing is LT. I think they may have fired him if it's still a 14 playoff because they would have gone 10-2, 4th straight loss to Michigan. Don't make the Big Ten title game. Play probably a disinterested bowl performance wherever it would be. Instead, they go win 4 games by double digits and win a championship. And I think look like the team that we anticipated them looking like when the season began.
So is Ryan Day safe now, or is he still in the blender next year because of the Michigan record? Where do we put Ryan Day of the elite coaches in college football right now?
Well, I think it kind of gets into what is the value of his buyout, right? I've been told Lincoln Riley's buyout is so huge that he's somewhat safe at SC. And I know people can say, well, they always can find the money. I mean, I don't know. When you're talking about a $50+ million buyout and an NIL era, which is different, right? It's different than in the past when you ostensibly weren't paying players, where you have to raise tens of millions of dollars to pay your players. And you have to raise tens of millions of dollars to fire your coach. I think the dollars just become more challenging in that respect. And so I think the buyouts are going to become even more significant. If I were an agent in this playoff era in which we're living in now, I would be even more aggressive than they were before about getting the biggest possible buyout to protect my guys going forward.
Clay Travis is with us, founder of Outkick, also on Fox. He's in D.C., where he'll be doing his show with Buck today, Buck Sexton, up from D.C., where the inauguration was yesterday. If you're Marcus Freeman, sometime over the next 48 hours, I'm certain that Notre Dame's going to have a contract in front of him that will have a significant raise, a significantly larger buyout, generational money for his family if he ever gets fired. And there's a chance an NFL team might also have an offer in front of him that would be like in money, I would have to assume. What do you do if you're Marcus Freeman?
Does he have 6 kids? Am I correct in that?
I think it is 6, Clay. I think that is right.
And I know their age range is still relatively young because I think he just turned 40 or whatever, meaning, it's not like his kids are, in college or post-college in their own lives. I think that being a head coach in the NFL is way easier from a lifestyle perspective than being a head coach in college football. I really, really do. And I think this will be a good test of that because there aren't that many college football guys who get really legit NFL opportunities. Now, within the construct of that analysis, I think also you just have to look at the quarterback position of whatever franchises you are potentially interested in going to, because I mean, Bill Belichick was a genius. Tom Brady, otherwise he's a sub 500 coach in the NFL. And no matter how good of a coach Marcus Freeman is, if he doesn't have a supremely elite quarterback situation or one that he thinks he could build, then he's not going to win. And so to me, that would be the question that I'm looking at. Lifestyle, as you always are, sit down with the wife, think about what you want to do as a dad going forward. I mean, 6 kids is good for him, but I mean, that's a bonkers family. I've got 3, and I can't imagine having 6. And then, what is the quarterback position? To me, it's a sort of 2-front analysis that I would put at the very apex.
Yeah, we lost you for a second, but I think you were done.
Yeah, we lost you at Apex, so that was the end.
Yeah, well, you got me at the very end. That was the apex.
Okay,
yeah, I mean,
good.
I think those are the 2 integral parts that he has to decide.
Is right now the Big Ten the alpha of college football?
Well, I mean, they've won 2 straight national championships at their 2 premier programs, so I think you have to give them credit. I think the question is it aberrational? Or is it more of a systemic change? The guys who are Big Ten fans and elsewhere want to, but Big Ten in particular, want to say, hey, it's back to an even playing field. The SEC was always paying players. We were not doing it on the same level as them. Now that it's all public, we're back to being able to compete at an incredibly high level. Interesting argument. I don't know that I buy it. That's what they're saying. I think it's too early to say whether we've seen a structural change, but I do think you should have your chest puffed out for the first time in basically 20 years, because even when Ohio State won in 14, right, the first year of the 14 playoff, they've now won in the first year of the 12-team playoff, if I'm remembering that correctly, when they beat Alabama and New Orleans. I think you have to look at that and say, the Ohio State 14 felt a bit like an aberration. They were the 4 seed. They got hot. Probably Urban Meyer's best coaching job, but it didn't feel like they were really kind of changing the trajectory or setup of major college football, if that makes sense. When Michigan wins for the first time since I know they won a half of a championship in 97, but when Michigan wins only their first undisputed title since, I think, the 1950s, last year, and now Ohio State comes back and they've won 02, 14, and now 24, if I'm remembering correctly off the top of my head. I definitely think you have to. That's the argument I'd be making if I were in the Big Ten. Hey, it's our era. We've passed the SEC. Again, I think it's too early to say that definitively, but if I were a coach, that's what I'd be saying.
Over the next 2 years, you buying stock more in Arch Manning or Kalen DeBoer?
Arch Manning, for sure. I mean, Arch Manning is going, barring a really, really poor. Look, they have a great talent. Sark's going to put him in positions to make a lot of plays. I think Arch Manning will be almost assuredly a top 10 pick in the 2026 draft. So, assuming he wants to come out.
The only thing, I got to stop you, though, Clay, because I thought Quinn Ewers was good. I didn't think he was great. But if Arch is this incredible quarterback that everybody's talking about and your Heisman favorite next year and Texas is one of your favorites to win the national championship, why in the hell didn't he play more this year?
I mean, sometimes you have, promises that have been made. I think promises are going to be made even more in an NIL era. Maybe Quinn Ewers has the locker room. I don't know that for sure. But it wouldn't be the first time that, I mean, look, Eli, if I'm remembering correctly, didn't play for like 2 years at Ole Miss and then came in at the Music City Bowl and just threw for like 300 yards and 5 touchdowns or something against, I feel like it was like Minnesota, back in like 97 or whatever year that was.
West Virginia, I think.
Look that up and see.
Yeah.
But you remember that game? And then everybody was like, well, I think it was Romero Miller. Was that the quarterback that was starting before
I think you're
him?
right. Yeah. I think you're right.
And so everybody at Ole Miss was like, letting Archie's son sit on the bench behind Romero Miller. Now, Romero Miller probably didn't expect to get a flying, elbow drop this morning on the radio show. No disrespect to him, but I think Quinn Ewers a better college football quarterback. Eli starting over him. So my point is just I think the Mannings maybe uniquely understand how quarterbacks develop, maybe because of what Arch went through with the Saints, just getting the crap beaten out of him. And they seem okay with letting people develop. Remember, Peyton Manning was third string his freshman year when Jerry Colquitt tore his ACL. Do you guys remember who the backup was that year?
Todd Helton.
Was it Todd Helton? No, Brandon Stewart.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, I thought it was Brandon Stewart.
No, it was Todd. Brandon Stewart and Peyton Manning both came in the same year as freshmen.
Gotcha.
But Todd Helton was the backup to Jerry Colquitt, never expected to play. But yeah, Peyton Manning came in the Rose Bowl. Colquitt tore his ACL. One of the truly awful stories. Waited behind Heath Schuler. Tore his ACL first series as a redshirt senior quarterback that was supposed to be the guy. And from there, they had to go with Todd Helton, and eventually Peyton Manning won the job. And I don't think Todd Helton really wanted to even play, right? I mean, he's a Hall of Fame baseball player. He knew he was going to be a first-round baseball pick. I think he liked playing football, but I think he never kind of anticipated that he would be the guy. And it's always been kind of funny to him, and he and Peyton, I think, have a good relationship. Both Hall of Fame guys, but Todd Helton, getting beat out in football by Peyton Manning.
It was the 2000 Music City Bowl, and they were down 49-16. Cutcliffe brings in Manning. They are playing West Virginia, and they scored 22 unanswered. They still lost 49-38.
But what a comeback.
Yeah.
Only a Manning could do that in the Music City Bowl.
And he was a sophomore.
Yeah. All right, he is Clay Travis.
Yeah, so I mean, he's set for 2 years.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah, no, I was just saying. I mean, think about Ole Miss. It's not like Ole Miss has a storied football program. Best player at quarterback they've had since Archie, and they set him for 2 years. Anyway, just kind of a little bit of maybe a harbinger of what to expect from Cooper.
All right,
from Arch. From Arch, yeah.
He is Clay Travis, founder of Outkick, at Clay Travis on social media. Thank you for the time, Clay. Enjoy DC. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, appreciate y'all. See ya.
All right, buddy. We'll see you. Clay Travis with us. Let me clean one thing up real quick, a little dead wood from that interview. Marcus Freeman did agree to a contract extension just before the playoffs began. But keep in mind, and you don't know how much he's getting because it's a private school, so you'll have to see in the tax returns, but they estimate probably somewhere around $9 million a year. That was before the playoffs started. He's now coached for a national championship. And if there are jobs that want him, I would point you to the Nate Oates situation, where Nate Oates agreed to a contract extension before the NCAA tournament last year. Lo and behold, Alabama makes the Final Four, and the Kentucky job comes open. So Greg Byrne had to circle back to Nate Oates and say, what else do we need here? Now, that's not to say that Freeman would get more money out of it, but you can rest assured Freeman's agent, if he has not already put ink on paper, or even if he has, may circle back to Notre Dame and say, we got to do more.
The worst thing that happened, though, was Ben Johnson getting the Bears job yesterday.
That is correct.
If that could have hovered a little bit longer, and if he would have gotten an interview, I think that leads to more money.
The Bears did appear to be the one that is most interested in him.
I mentioned that in the group I was with last night, that the Bears being filled by Ben Johnson probably helped Notre Dame fans. But to your point, Brownie, you can come back, you can get more for your coaches, better facilities, you can get more NIL money, any of that stuff after this run by Marcus Freeman. Let's do our spotlight, brought to you by our friends at McCurry today. Hit it, Tyler.
The College Football Spotlight.
McCurry Van and Car Rental, the local rental company you can depend on. And they make it easy for you, too. All kinds of trucks, SUVs, passenger vans. Easy in, easy out throughout North Alabama, Athens, Muscle Shoals, Huntsville, 2nd Avenue Northwest in Coleman, Skyland Boulevard in Tuscaloosa. Reserve that rental today, 256-559-1003 or MickCurryRentals.com.
As always, the day after the national championship, we'll do the future top 25s from different sources in the 11 o'clock hour, but Heisman odds are out. It takes on a different feeling today than it did previous times as you looked ahead to the season, because we're now counting down at 214 days to the next college football season. And the guy you're talking about, Arch Manning, is the, I'd say, a heavy favorite to be the Heisman Trophy winner, 6-1. Garrett Nussmeier is next at 9-1 odds. So even a 3-point gap there between Arch and the next person, Arch Manning, and the not name brand Garrett Nussmeier.
I had somebody that we know, he's a Texas fan, reached out to me last week when we were talking about Sark maybe getting an interview with Dallas. And he said Sark wouldn't go anywhere because Arch Manning is his Tim Tebow. And I was like, I don't know. I don't know what kind of context you're trying to put this in, but there is zero chance Arch Manning will ever be Tim Tebow.
I think what he's saying is that was the big recruit that he sold everything to get quarterback-wise.
That could be the play, but at the same time,
that's what Meyer had done to Tebow.
But there are people that believe Arch Manning's going to be this good. I think he's going to be good, but if he was generational, he would have played over Ewers this year.
It's just funny. I think back, you mentioned Todd Furman. Let's bring him up again. I was either the day after, it was his next interview with us after Alabama beat Georgia in the national championship game when Tua made the appearance in 2017. And I remember we asked him about future Heisman odds. That's before they were as readily available as they are now, apparently. And he said, Tua Tagovailoa will open the season as the Heisman favorite. I was like, whoa, time out. We've seen this guy play a half of football? And Furman's like, that was enough. He'll open as a Heisman favorite. We hadn't even seen Arch play that. We've seen him play a couple games, but nothing that was...
That's significant.
Yeah, that's significant.
No, and even on the stage against Ohio State, he came in for one play, and there were other moments that I think they should have used his talents and his skill set, and they didn't. By the way, on that Heisman, I don't know if you know, you have to go way down to find an Alabama player. Not former Alabama players. There's former Alabama players all over it.
I'm getting to the next line. So Arch, Nussmeier. Then next is Jeremiah Smith and Cade Klubnik at 12-1. And then you go to, now just look at these quarterbacks here. Lagway, Aller, Mateer, Sellers, Nico at Tennessee, all 16-1. Then you go to Julian Sayin and Carson Beck at 18-1. Look at where Carson Beck has fallen. 18-1.
What was he coming into this year? Do you remember offhand, Lance?
I would say it's probably in the 12-1, 9-1 range. Yeah. One of the top five guys.
The Alabama player you find is Ryan Williams at 25-1, and that's not far from Jackson Arnold at Auburn, who's 40-1.
Yeah, would you guys have thought that you would have an Auburn quarterback in front of a Kalen DeBoer Alabama quarterback?
No, I would not have.
No.
That's where you find it.
Yeah. It's wild that you've got a receiver. You don't even have a quarterback up there, but you've got a receiver up there. Yeah. Speaks highly of Ryan Williams, obviously.
Yeah, you've got a Texas A&M quarterback that I don't even know if he's any good. Seriously.
Yeah.
You've got a true freshman that's never taken a snap at the college ranks that's in front of.
Yeah, I would say that if you had a returning starter in Tuscaloosa or somebody you'd seen more of,
I would agree.
It probably would be in a different place.
But back to Brown's point, when Furman said that, you didn't have a starter, you had the guy coming in as the favorite to win the Heisman.
Yeah, different circumstance. He won the national championship with an amazing second half. But, you were as betting, the odds makers in Vegas, you were projecting the starting quarterback with a returning starter and the guy who came in and saved the day. Both were still going to be on the roster in Tuscaloosa the next year.
Yeah,
it was a weird time. Absolutely. That's our McCurry Spotlight today. The Heisman odds for next year, brought to you by our friends at McCurry.
McCurryRentals.com. That is McCurryRentals.com.
Inauguration day yesterday. Coverage all over the place. Tyler, cut number 7. This is going to be just audio only, so you'll get us on the screen reacting to this. Melton actually told me about it last night, but C-SPAN does continuous coverage of big events, and they take phone calls sometimes. And so they're doing the inauguration scene and taking phone calls inside the rotunda at the U.S. Capitol yesterday. This is C-SPAN, paid for by us, the taxpayers. This is the way it went down yesterday on the transition of power in Washington, D.C.
Graham in Jersey City, New Jersey, Democrats line.
Hi, I want to wish everyone a happy MLK Day. I hope everyone's staying warm. A bit disappointed how the election turned out. I think it would have been great to see a female president inaugurated today. And while I'm disappointed in the American people and their desire to see another 4 years of Trump, I'm a bit more disappointed in the selection committee for not picking Alabama for the college football playoff finals, and instead picking inferior teams like SMU and Indiana. truly dark times in America.
Okay. Graham there.
Okay. Truly dark times.
I mean, a guy from Jersey City takes time to call the Democratic line.
I know.
I guess they got two lines, Democratic and a Republican line.
Yeah, they do. Probably on the day that a Republican's getting inaugurated, it's easier to get through on the Democrat line, maybe.
Probably so.
Yeah.
And he takes his time to take a shot at the selection committee.
That's pretty good.
Fight for Alabama. Are you kidding me?
You do wonder, though, like without that SMU comeback against Clemson, and if Alabama would have gotten in, if they would have gotten the draw at Penn State, I mean, more than likely they win 2 games, and the season's completely different. They end up with, 11 wins? They're probably 6-7 on the final. And then I think there's a lot of momentum going into next year.
Yeah, I don't think we ever saw Alabama be consistent enough to make it all the way like Notre Dame or Ohio State did. But you're right. You would view the end of the season much differently than what we just did a few moments ago. By the way, Alabama finishes the year ranked 17th in the Associated Press. That's their lowest ranking since 2007.
I mean, you guys will give me, if they don't make that comeback, Alabama would be in. They would have played, and who knows what would have happened, but I feel like they would have beaten SMU, and I feel like they would have beaten Boise.
I would agree with you on both those.
Well, SMU wouldn't have been in if Alabama had been in. Yeah, so...
Yeah, so how would it they would have
yeah, I think Alabama would have played Notre Dame.
Is that the way it would have been?
That's the projection, yeah.
Okay.
Or maybe Clemson would have got Notre Dame and Alabama would have gotten Texas.
Yeah. Either way.
Yeah. Either way, C-SPAN. Can you think of a harder job than having sat there? I mean, you think I give you hell, Tyler. Can you imagine sitting there having to answer the Democratic and the Republican hotline every day and screen calls for C-SPAN? I mean, that one made it through. Imagine the ones that don't make it through.
I mean, I imagine everybody just calls in a very calm voice.
Wants to
be reasonable and nuanced.
There are rings of hell that the people that answer the phone at C-SPAN probably would rather be in.
Yeah, and I bet Inauguration Day is not the day they want to show up.
Do you think he got confused, and that's why it took him a little bit of time to cut him off? No, I think Alabama would have been the 11th seed. They would have played Penn State.
Yeah.
And then you got a James Franklin situation. If you win that game, you got Boise State.
When we come back, we got 4 downs, a little fun with AI. I know a lot of you saw it yesterday on social media. Just an amazing work of actors as SEC head coaches who would play them in movies. And much more on Ohio State being your football national champions. The show being brought to you by our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Great time, guys, to start thinking about your health in 2025 if you have not had, say, that prostate check in a while. If you're moving from your 20s to your 30s, stay on top of that health as you get a little bit older, 30s to 40s and so on, with your prostate health, kidney stones, everything in between, vasectomies if it's time to call it quit on the kids, and anything else with our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. A couple of ways to get in touch with them. You can call them up, 205-930-0920, 930-0920, or visit urologycentersalabama.com to schedule an appointment today, urologycentersalabama.com.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
It's the O'Reilly Auto Parts World of Wheels, January 31st through February 2nd at the BJCC. With customs, classics, hot rods, and more. Check out the exotic lineup in the Supercar South Hall. Sponsored by Mob Inc. And don't miss the BMX stunt team performing outrageous stunts live. Friday only meet all elite wrestler Christian Cage. Saturday it's Bill Carlton from Texas Metal. And Sunday meet Oscar from The Office. Bring the kids for free Hot Wheels racing, costume characters, rides, and more. Get discount tickets at all O'Reilly Auto Parts stores. Details at worldofwheels.net.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemphill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemphill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemphill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemphill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
You
could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win.
Since you listened to my last message so well and got rid of those cargo shorts and stained t-shirts, it's time to replace them with Rhoback. Go to Rhoback.com and click on the Refresh collection to find all that you need for an EG-approved wardrobe. It includes pieces that will have you ready to hit the golf course after a busy day of meetings or comfy favorites for travel and working from home. Get 20% off using code TNR20. See, I'm saving you some money.
Take TNR on the go with a podcast built for your satisfaction. Miss Hour 1, find it in podcast form. Miss Hour 2, stream it now. Miss Hour 3, download it for later. Miss Hour 4, well, just know it's never coming back. Listen to TNR wherever you find podcasts.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Hang out with the Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there. Do you need some refreshed college wear to represent your team this year? Shop Rhoback's Game Day collection that includes both Alabama and Auburn. From quarter zips to hoodies, Rhoback has it all. Get 20% off on us using code TNR20 at Rhoback.com.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com. The latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com. That's nextroundlive.com.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Back with you on the Next Round. We're about to have a little fun with AI, and everyone's seen it on social media before that, though.
I haven't.
Okay, you'll enjoy the heck out of this. But first, I'm going to do an impersonation real quick. You ready for impersonation?
Yeah.
Since Rockstar left, we don't have bad impersonations, but I'm ready for an impersonation. Ready?
Seemed like a shot. You
he
didn't mean that as a shot.
Rockstar always joked about he did spoofs on impersonations.
That's right. He admitted they weren't great, but we were just laughing at them.
He spoofed people that did impersonations.
That's right,
So ready? Here we go. I'll give you the cue, Forrester, but ready if Yoda was an Ole Miss fan.
Yoda. Oh, okay.
Yoda is an Ole Miss fan. I have a little Yoda look to
Yeah, I didn't get that.
Right. Okay, I see it now. It's like the Yoda hoodie, and you've got the Ole Miss blue on.
Can I
maybe Yoda wear a hoodie?
Do I remember what Yoda looked like, Melton? I thought Yoda.
No, boy, you don't want to compare yourself to
didn't have a lot of hair. But Ole Miss is baby blue.
Right?
Yeah.
What you need is Tyler carrying you around with you on his back, and it would work out. Jumping over logs.
Yeah,
out in the swamp.
Paul Giamatti was green.
Yeah,
maybe.
Can you pull up Yoda real quick? Maybe I forget what Yoda.
I remember him wearing a hoodie. Lance, you asked.
I thought it was like.
I thought it was a robe.
Now Obi-Wan had a hoodie.
Ah, it's Obi-Wan. I was thinking of.
Oh, you're gonna have to put the hoodie on.
Yeah,
you're right. Yoda doesn't have a hoodie.
Yeah, it's more of a robe.
Well, Yoda needed to shave those ears.
Yeah, me too.
Well, I can't handle that. Like your hair, I have to shave the heck out of that. Do Obi-Wan Kenobi. I think that's who he's thinking of.
You think Yoda had Manscaped?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Trim them green nuts.
Yeah.
Put the hood on. And get it real low. And I'm going to help you out with your Star Wars impression, but get it as low as you possibly can.
What is the point of a Star Wars impression, by the way?
Take the earphones off. I was just trying to do something to get us into another ad read. truthfully.
A lot of work.
If you want to be honest.
All right, now you're
Our friends in York Butcher Shop. Our friends in York Butcher Shop bringing you part of the show today. Tell us about New York Butcher.
Great place to go. One-stop dinner shop. 2 locations, the original Cabo Heights, Highway 119 in Greystone. Get in, see Jim and that incredible staff. If you're looking for a big-time lunch, those huge deli sandwiches, you can take half to go. Fresh meat, specialty sandwiches, catering, fine selection of wines and desserts. Rare quality, well-done service. 2 locations. It is the New York Butcher Shop.
4 downs in just a second, but Forster has some fun on social media. Forster, you stumbled across this yesterday and you started laughing at this. Give me the premise behind all this. Is this if actors were playing SEC coaches in movies? Do I have that close?
Yeah, you're pretty accurate there. Alex Dunlap, who covers the NFL, created some AI images of actors playing SEC coaches.
Okay, walk me through this. LT, can you see the screen over here? Here we go. These are actors playing SEC coaches. Some of them are spot on. Some of them are funny. This is Vanderbilt coach Clark Lee. That's Jim Carrey?
That is Jim Carrey.
Okay. So you see where we're going with this,
I
LT?
do.
Okay.
They look nothing alike.
Okay. This is exactly the way I thought this segment would go, by the way.
No,
Yep.
Shane Gillis playing Josh Heupel.
Yeah. I got to be honest. He looks more like a former Tennessee coach in Butch Jones.
I can see that.
Fat Butch Jones.
I can see
Butch's
that.
going to have to add some LBs. Yeah.
Okay, who's next? Brian Kelly.
Will Ferrell.
That's Will Ferrell?
Yeah.
That is Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
Now, look, they've done AI where they've kind of merged the two faces. It's like, make Will Ferrell look like Brian Kelly.
That's exactly
the way
what
that
this
is
is.
done.
Okay, all right. Who's next?
This next one's pretty good.
See, that's the one I thought was the best. John C. Reilly playing Mike Elko.
Okay.
I mean, that looks
The
like,
shading helps.
If you had told me that's a
not
picture
bad.
of Mike Elko, I'm like, okay, that's Mike Elko.
you could get away with that
Yeah.
one.
Yep.
This next one's not.
Not good?
Mark Wahlberg is Shane Beamer. You think he walked home to his wife and said, okay,
Yep.
look at this. I'm Mark Wahlberg. He's
I
going to
think
play me in a
Shane
movie.
Beamer acts better as a coach than Mark Wahlberg does in 99% of his roles.
Yeah.
Dang.
Shot at Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, it is.
Jack Black
As
Playing
Mark Stoops.
Mark Stoops.
As Mark Stoops.
No, Axl Rose
Axl
plays
Rose
Mark
would have to
Stoops.
be.
100%.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah,
Axl Rose.
that's a miss.
Yeah.
That's not even close.
That's a miss.
Yeah. Looks more like Brian Kelly, honestly.
Yeah, not even the hair color. Billy Napier at Florida. Who's the actor?
I don't even know who this is.
It's Chris Pratt.
Chris
Pratt. Okay.
Yeah, Brown's right. They've done way too much AI to pull them together.
That's right.
Yeah.
Make Chris Pratt look like Billy Napier. Yeah.
Yep. Who's next?
John Cena might as well have been there.
Kirby did not get the good end of this.
Oh, my God.
Kirby Smart did not get the good
Who
end
do they
of this.
have playing Kirby?
That's the guy. That's the guy from.
Is that Ron Swanson?
Yeah, Nick Offerman.
Oh my God, that is terrible.
If I told Kirby Ron Swanson's playing you.
Oh, I thought that was the actor that played the dad on that the spinoff of Big Bang Theory, Little Sheldon.
North Carolina.
No idea.
Young Sheldon?
Young Sheldon.
Little Sheldon.
Yeah. Little Chris. I don't know. I thought that was the dad off of that. I did not know that was.
No,
Ron
that's not a
Swanson.
good cast right there.
Yeah. What's next?
Is that Tom Cruise playing Venables?
Nailed it.
That's Tom Cruise.
That is Tom Cruise.
Wow.
Venables. Oh, I tell
Again,
you.
William Sadler could play Venables.
Okay.
We're closing in. Do we have a Hugh Freeze and DeBoer coming up? Here's Hugh Freeze.
Who is
Adam
that?
Sandler.
Oh, Adam Sandler.
LT got it.
Oh my
It looks
gosh.
nothing like Hugh Freeze, though.
Nothing.
Or
That's the
Adam
worst
Sandler.
one.
I can hear the pain in LT's voice
Oh,
right
I
now,
know
by
he
the way.
hates that.
Well, I mean, let me ask you, Belton. Somebody took time to do this,
Yeah,
right?
no, it's bad.
I mean,
It's
just
bad.
put some more effort into
Well,
it.
I
I'm
mean,
with
technically AI did, so which is probably pretty quick. That's a good looking Auburn hat, though. Eli Drinkwitz.
Steve Carell is
Steve
Eli
Carell.
Drinkwitz.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Next one's pretty funny.
Okay.
Boom.
Chris Farley.
is
Give us a
Sam
fat actor for
Yeah.
Sam Pittman. God, he even gave him a dead actor.
You could have made that Brett Bielema too, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right,
Probably
I'll
close.
I'll skip around a little bit. Here's Sark.
Who is that? Jake Gyllenhaal?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Never thought he looked like
He's
Sark.
got a little rock in him too.
He's got that October sky behind him.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? We gotta go rush and lock it.
Kiffin.
JT?
Justin Timberlake?
Oh, Kiffin. Kiffin loves. Did Kiffin retweet this? I'm sure he did.
I'm sure he did.
Probably.
Yeah.
And Kalen DeBoer.
Tom Hanks at Kalen DeBoer.
Well, I mean,
Tom Hanks is taking nothing but terrible roles right now, so might as well.
By the way, I had to look when he showed me that. I literally had to put my glasses on to think that wasn't Kalen DeBoer.
Well, I mean, again, if you tell AI, make Tom Hanks look like Kalen DeBoer, that's what you're going to get.
Yeah. All right.
Hey, and just so I don't slight the Mississippi State fans, Jonah Hill
no.
as Jeff Levy.
Poor Jeff Levy.
Oh, man.
Only Sam Pittman feared worse.
That's right.
Because Jonah Hill's dropped like 100 pounds since that photo.
I mean, I don't know what the worst is, but if you would have told Hugh Freeze, Adam Sandler would play you in a movie.
He would not take that, would he?
No.
Our friends at Slice bring us 4 downs every day. Slice, the wonderful pizzeria. There's not another one like it in the world.
Fantastic place to go. Nestle up to that bar, get you a slice and a salad, cold draft beer. They've got a fine selection of incredible beers. Founded by the late Jeff Bajaya, his brothers Jason and Chris continue to celebrate his legacy. 5 locations: Lakeview, Vestavia, Montevallo, Crestline Park, newest location in Edgewood. Local pizza, local ingredients. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
First down.
Who wins a playoff game first? Sharon Moore with Michigan or Ben Johnson with the Chicago Bears?
I will go Ben Johnson with the Chicago Bears. I mean, he's inheriting a quarterback that did not – I mean, he has some alarming stats this year, but he'll come in with his offensive schemes. They've got talent at receiver. They seem to have an organization that's willing to spend money now.
See, I would go Moore because of Underwood coming in. I think they closed with a little momentum. And the problem I've got with Chicago is how difficult that division is. Look, they got bounced quickly in the playoffs with one and done with Detroit, Green Bay, and Minnesota. But all 3 of those teams are really good.
Yeah. Feels like Minnesota could be poised for a drop-off.
It does, but I mean, it depends on if you believe in J.J. McCarthy or not.
Of course, we said that last year with Cousins going to Atlanta.
Yeah, that's true.
All they did was win 14 games, 15 games.
Lance is right. That division's going nowhere, I don't think. I mean, I don't think Detroit, Minnesota, and Green Bay are going to drop off that bad. I guess I would go Sharon Moore, but I don't feel great about it. I really want to go Ben Johnson at Chicago, but I'm just worried about them surviving that division. That's such a good division right now.
We will look at the future AP or the future top 25s from several different organizations coming up at 11 o'clock, see where the Michigan respect is going into next year.
Second down.
Who plays for another national championship again first, Dabo or Marcus Freeman?
I think I would go Marcus Freeman. I just think he'll do it longer, so there'll be more opportunities. I think Dabo.
Would you guys go neither, though?
I mean, that's the betting favorite. Yeah.
In that profession, I think it's always easier to say never.
Yeah.
Never again in their situation. Clemson's going to have a really good team next year.
Yeah, I think so, too.
Can they get to a national championship game? I think we've seen how tough that is now when you talk about the path that Ohio State had to do.
Who does Clemson have out of conference outside of South Carolina? Like, who do they open with? Typically, it's big.
I think they took a step back from that this year after the Georgia game. It seemed like we asked that question.
Which is interesting because that Georgia game didn't hurt them one bit.
No, not at all.
They could have lost that game 1,000-0. Jim says they took a step back. They host LSU. I mean, at least you're hosting it. You're not playing neutral site.
Oh, what a fun game.
That is a fun game. Saturday, August 30th, LSU at Memorial Stadium in Death Valley.
That's week 1. That's game day.
The mini Death Valley, right?
Yeah,
Death Valley Light.
That's the Battle of Death Valleys. The winner gets to call it Death Valley forever.
That's game day.
I haven't looked at the rest of week 1, but it's hard to one-up that one. I would have to
that's
agree.
a top 10 matchup for sure.
Yeah. That would be an ESPN game since it's ACC, SEC.
I guess you got Ohio State, Texas.
You do, but that'll be that's in Columbus, right?
It's in Columbus.
So it'd be a Fox game if that matters.
I lean both of these are playoff teams next year.
Yeah.
I probably would go Freeman just based on what you said initially. He's going to have more years.
Well, I mean, didn't we look at their schedule? It's a little bit more interesting next year.
Notre Dame's is,
regular season.
Yeah, it is. It would have been a much better schedule this year because it's got Boise on there.
You're replacing quarterback Jeremiah Love.
Xavier Watts is gone.
I mean, there's some holes to fill. We'll see.
Third down.
This one's difficult, I think. Who wins another national championship first, Ryan Day or Kirby Smart?
Well, Georgia looked really different this year.
Maybe this is the outlier. Maybe their terrible year, they still win the SEC and go to a college football playoff.
That's right. Sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I would say that one thing people go crazy about the $20 million NIL that Ohio State spent, but keep in mind that annually, before you could legally pay players, whatever, Ohio State spends more money on athletics than any other athletic department in the country year in and year out. They have a $300 million budget. That's what they spend on athletics. So Ohio State always has stuff. And this year they legally could start putting that stuff in payment to players. So they've got money and they spend money on athletics. It's important to them there. So I think they will continue to spend at Ohio State. Now the question is, can Kirby get back before whoever the coach at Ohio State is, and Ryan Day in this case? I'm going to say Ryan Day in Ohio State plays for one before Kirby does.
I said win one.
Win one. I will roll with it. I mean, it's an outlier. Ohio State didn't win so many till now. So I'm going to say Ohio State.
I think I would too.
First.
I think I would take, it feels knee-jerk, I get it, but I think I'd take Ryan Day over Kirby now.
I'm going to lean Kirby, but I don't feel great about it.
Yeah. But am I not right? From 2014 until now, their gap there between those championships, there were a lot of years there that really they should have been national champions.
They played Alabama for one. They weren't particularly close, but at least they were in the game. They
should have beaten Georgia.
Could have beaten Georgia. Could have / should have, however you want to say it. They win the national championship if they beat Georgia because they get to play TCU.
Yeah, and again, then Kirby Smart, his legacy looks a little different.
Yeah.
Fourth down.
Hakeem Olajuwon, 62 years old. If I asked you the best Houston athlete of all time, is it Olajuwon?
Of all Houston sports?
Yep.
Nolan Ryan is in the discussion.
Yep.
Earl Campbell.
Earl Campbell.
Yeah. I mean,
Warren Moon. You got to put Warren Moon in there.
Jeff Bagwell.
Yeah.
I was going to say you have to include some of this Astros run recently, though.
Billy Wagner.
Who do you put in from the recent Astros run?
The third baseman, Bregman, right? Is that his name?
Alex Bregman.
Yeah. Or
Jose Altuve.
Yeah.
Carlos Correa for a minute, now gone.
Yeah.
I mean, but those Astro teams were iconic.
But I really think the way it would go is Olajuwon would be one, Nolan Ryan, and Earl Campbell.
I think I'd put Moon in front of Earl Campbell. I think I'd put Warren Moon in front of him.
I wouldn't put Moon in front of Campbell.
I don't know.
I mean, you got to give Moon his respect.
I think Moon had a better career, but Moon played other places.
He did. Earl Campbell
Minnesota,
was only an Oiler.
Seattle.
Was Earl Campbell, he was only an Oiler?
Yeah. But Olajuwon, I think we forget how good he was.
No, he's the dream, right? He's Hakeem Olajuwon.
Like, you could make an argument, best center of all time. I mean, people would say Kareem, people would say Shaq, Bill Russell, but, I mean, I think Olajuwon might have been better than all those guys.
I'd probably go Kareem.
I probably would, too.
Yeah. I mean, Nolan Ryan did it at Texas, California, and the Mets as well, the Angels, Mets. I think he had no-hitters with all four franchises.
I think, and the Rangers. Did you say the Rangers?
I said the Rangers,
Okay.
Texas, yeah.
Yeah, just based on the fact that Olajuwon was always there.
Yeah.
Two-time NBA champion, right? Both years, though, without Jordan in the league. Is that correct?
Yep, and played for one in '84 against Celtics.
Well, they beat the Knicks and the Magic, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I probably would go Olajuwon.
I guess I would. Yeah.
But I mean, it's baseball, so it's not apples to apples. But that Astros run there for a while, Altuve, cheaters, and all they were.
Two runs. I mean, the Killer Bees with Biggio and Bagwell and Lance Bergman, they just couldn't get over the hump.
That's right.
Like, they were in the postseason all the time. Yeah, this one. This one cheated, but
yeah.
Who was the stud pitcher? Was it Mike Scott?
Mike Scott.
Yeah, that they had back in the day.
One of the first big-time guys that could really throw a splitter.
J.R. Richards was better than him, though.
Better than Mike Scott?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's hard to say.
More talented. Almost died of a heart attack in the bullpen.
Well, he had a stroke, and that's what completely shut down his career.
Yeah.
Big dude,
Warming
man.
up to start, yeah.
Could bring it.
That is 4 Downs today, brought to you by our friends at Slice.
Yeah, 5 locations for lunch or dinner, from the Hot Mama to the Soul Pie, the Wing and a Prayer, the Bajaya Special, just some of the best specialty pizzas out there. For more information to check out that menu, go to slicebirmingham.com.
Yeah. So we're getting ready to talk about the future of college football. We'll do that in the next segment, including a Joel Klatt tweet coming up. Basketball tonight, Vandy and Alabama at 6 on all of our platforms, reaction post-game, and all the coverage at Next Round Live. Make sure you follow and subscribe. We look forward to that. This whole Big Ten is the best conference and the new aligned Big Ten in football. Not everybody is having the best of times in the Big Ten. If you'll give me cut 9, this is from back on Friday. Mick Cronin is the head coach at UCLA in basketball. Now, this is a news conference after a game for them. And keep in mind, basketball scheduling is a little different. Usually you pair up games to when you go on the road, when you're in a big conference, so that you can get 2 games when you're on the road and then you come back home. Mick Cronin gets asked this question, and watch his reaction.
So much has been made about you guys going east. You just came back from a prolonged East Coast trip. Yeah. I'm wondering, have you seen anything from the teams that have to come out here and stay out here? Is there any kind of balance with that in terms of the wear and tear and just what you've seen on the court?
Wear and tear on them?
Yeah.
Is that a joke? Please tell me that's a joke.
Is it even comparable, is essentially what I'm trying to say.
Have you ever looked at the NBA stats and what the gamblers and all those people do on West versus East? Talk to Eric Musselman, ask him that question, who coached in the NBA. Good luck, West, going east. Okay, and ask me UCLA's record east of the Mississippi in the last 20 years. Because when I got the job, I looked it up for scheduling purposes. It's under 500, okay? We have to go back 4 times. Oh, the Big Ten teams get to come to Los Angeles where it's 70 degrees 1 time a year. They don't even have to switch hotels. We're 12 miles apart. Are you kidding me? Please tell me you're kidding me. Is this a plan? Is this a planted question? I mean, you cannot be serious. Right? And meanwhile, we've seen the Eiffel Tower, or we've seen the Statue of Liberty twice in the last 3 weeks while we were landing. We also saw downtown. We also saw the Capitol building. I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, you can't possibly. And we still got to go back. And then we got to go back for the Big Ten tournament. Right. You can't possibly be serious.
Well, that's the thing. You have 4 more trips of those to make.
Yeah.
So
they do it 1 time. You can't possibly stop. I'm going to eat, man. You can't. I mean, he's asked me to feel sorry because Iowa had to come to LA for a few days. You can't be serious. You know how much people vacation here? Trust me. I got a lot of friends. I have to tell them, no, I'm focused. Everybody from back in Cincinnati wants to come out here all the time. I have to ration them out. Okay. Nobody wants to be back there. How's the weather in Iowa City? Come on.
I mean, he jumped on that old cat with both feet.
Yeah, what a dick. I mean, Cronin, this is like the second meltdown he's had this year.
Yeah,
but the other one was on his actual team.
But think about it, though. For UCLA, USC, Washington, and Oregon in basketball, they do pair up the games, but to play their half of the schedule, they do have to go to the East. They have to fly out there 4 times. And if you are the team that's coming west, you only come out once to LA and once to the Pacific Northwest.
But this is only a surprise to somebody that doesn't look at a map. Yeah. I mean, we knew this was going to happen, right? We talked about this when they joined the league. Like, this is a football move. It is going to badly damage the rest of their sports.
Yeah, and by the way, they didn't have a lot of options. So Mick Cronin can bitch and complain all he wants, but this is what's paying your salary is this Big Ten affiliation.
Interesting stat, though, that he said. I look back at the history of UCLA basketball before we were in the Big Ten. For scheduling purposes, about when UCLA's great teams would go east to play, the winning percentage is way down. You go back and look when John Wooden lost.
Well, it's probably because they never went east.
It's usually when they would come to South Bend.
But because he said east to the Mississippi. Yeah, so that's a long trip. Do you look at any of that at Lance's lock, like NBA teams coming west to east, like he was talking about?
Depending on the schedule, so
that's a real thing.
Well, but here's the thing: like Vegas already.
They factor it in the point spread. Yeah.
But you in the NFL, it's just a 1 game.
Yeah, it's not that big a deal in football.
Like the Seahawks are traditionally really good going west to east.
Yeah.
But you just don't get a lot of teams.
Now, where it's a big deal in the NFL is if you're, say,
12 o'clock kick.
Well, no,
1
really.
o'clock Eastern kick.
Yeah, what I was going to say is the Chargers had to do this year, and I can't remember the teams, but they played back-to-back East Coast games, and I think they stayed out. And I don't know how they did, honestly, looking back on it. I don't know if that helped them or hurt them. But I think I remember Harbaugh saying, we're just going to stay out east. We're not coming back to L.A. So occasionally you get that in football, right? And I guess you can't really do that in the college game. Like USC, if they've got back-to-back at Rutgers and at Iowa, they can't very well just load up and stay east for 2 weeks. They'd have to come back home.
Another, I love the SEC, but I just like the fact that in basketball you don't have to schedule, okay, you're going on the road for 2 days. You're going to do Fayetteville and Columbia. I mean, it's one trip. Boom, boom.
But there's nothing the Big Ten could do about this.
Oh,
I mean,
Mick
Mick can get as upset as he wants. Number one, as Lance said, the other option was your athletic program's out of business. I mean, that was going to happen at some point probably because they were way in debt. Or number two, you go do this. And, I mean, those aren't great options. I get it. But it's what had to be done to save your program.
Yeah, He's actually got a pretty decent little basketball team.
They're not bad. They got Wisconsin tonight.
Yeah, I've seen them a couple of games this year. They're not bad. They're just they're in a tough little blender.
Well, here's how I would spin it: is come NCAA tournament time, like Alabama last year had to play an entire West Coast tour just to make the Final Four.
They went to
Spokane and then to LA and then to Phoenix.
And they stayed out in Spokane, LA, and decided to come home.
They talked about staying out before Phoenix, didn't they? But they decided we have been on the road a long time.
Last minute change.
Yeah.
Was he saying east of the Mississippi, right?
East of the Mississippi, UCLA, yeah.
See, I've got their all-time opponents. I just don't have home and away. But I'll tell you just one that jumped out. Like, what do you think they are all-time against North Carolina?
All time.
Now, some of those are going to be NCAA tournament games, obviously. Which, if it's east of the Mississippi, I guess this would count. How many games have they played against Carolina?
Against North Carolina, they have played 15 games.
15 games. I'm going to say
7 and 8.
Factor in freaking John Wooden and all those as well.
Dean Smith was pretty good.
I know, but I mean, Wooden won 10 national championships.
I'm going to say 7 and 8.
I'm going to say the other way around. I'm going to say 8 and 7.
3 and 12 all time versus Carolina.
Wow, that says a lot now.
Yeah. But some of those in the NCAA tournament and some of those in Final Fours that usually were on the East Coast.
Kevin tells me it was a Panthers-Steelers back-to-back this is in the MyBookie.ag chat room for the Chargers, and they split those games, which you could have split those games doing it however you did it. So
splits are
it happens all the time in the NFL.
All right, top of the hour. This hour of the show being brought to you by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. One more hour to go, and it is now officially, as of 27 seconds, lunchtime in Alabaster. If you're in the area, Highway 119, go by and see Sterling and the crew there. That Southern Fried Chicken is brined overnight. It's cooked to order. It's piping hot when it comes out. All the wonderful Southern sides that go with fried chicken, you get those at Champy's. Sterling makes sure that's A-plus quality every time it comes out. Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, a great way to start your meal, or maybe it's your meal altogether. There is nothing like them anywhere. Check out the whole menu at champyschicken.com and go by and see Sterling today. Highway 119 in Alabaster is Champy's Chicken.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie-cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Things fall apart. There's even a book about it, but that doesn't mean you have to break the bank to fix them. Ryan Brown here for The Next Round. Our friends at Mortgage Right have a new renovation option that will make repairs and other home improvements easy. If you've recently purchased a home and find yourself short on cash, or you're looking to buy a fixer-upper, Mortgage Right's renovation loan program can help you spruce up your space. Repairs can be made to your roof, plumbing, flooring, and more with the help of top-notch mortgage professionals. So get your fix by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR. And MLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Visit nextroundlive.com today. It's free, unless you haven't paid your internet bill. So go ahead and pay that, and then it's free. Heck, you can pull out your phone and go to nextroundlive.com right now, where you'll find all the free content that you can stomach, unless you haven't paid your phone bill. Then you need to pay that, and then you can enjoy all the free content. NextRoundLive.com is so rewarding that it should be behind a paywall, like Lance's Lock. So in summary, play Lance's Lock. Then you'll have enough money to pay your bills, and go to NextRoundLive.com, where you're always at your happiest, for free.
It's time to pull the trigger on the Next Round merch that you've been eyeing. We know there's a lot to choose from at nextround.store, so here's a few of our favorite picks. If you want to match LT and Brown, go with the TNR logo hoodie and throw in one of Dunaway's favorite hats. Any of them will do. The Backroom's go-to is the classic logo t-shirt, while my personal favorite is the light blue TNR crew neck. All of these items can be found at nextround.store and are EG approved. Rest assured, your order will be packed with lots of love from us here at the Next Round. Head over to nextround.store to start filling up your cart. By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one, and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by, ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, final hour of the show. I've already told you it's brought to you by Champies. Also brought to you by our friends at Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. I always tell you about these meal replacement protein bars I eat. I'm in the middle of one right now. I'll finish it in the next commercial break. This one tastes like a Reese's cup.
Oh, you can't beat that.
It's delicious, right? Look at that. It's a delicious little meal replacement there. They also have injection therapy, other ways to help you with your weight loss journey. It's a planforme.com, Leslie and her board-certified team take care of you. No contracts, so you're not locked into something for a year, 2 years, 3 years. If you don't like it, if it's not working for you, you can change. But so many rave reviews from our viewers and listeners over the years with Leslie and her team. No contracts, no sign-up fees, and that first consultation is free. If it's something you're interested in, I will tell you it's helped me with my cholesterol numbers as well. Go check it out. Planforme.com. It's a way to wellness, your journey to healthy living. Listen, I know this isn't entertaining as far as good television.
Okay.
But I do think it's entertaining to look at people who they are projecting next year's way too early top 25 just to get the public feel of where teams are going to be. So I've got 5 of them pulled up in no particular order. I'm going to go with Brad Crawford of 24/7 first, if that's okay.
That's fine with me.
If that's okay with you. He does it in word form, which is my least favorite, and I'm going to put on glasses to look more intelligent, okay?
Better word for him than a slideshow.
Yeah, that is true, Brownie.
It feels like we've gone away from the slideshow. The slideshow used to be the big thing.
What a pain in the ass
it really was. Yeah, but it feels like we've gone away from that.
Slideshow with pop-ups.
Oh, even worse.
Brad, not Brad. Brad's who I'm about to read. Ryan, do you have a scratch sheet of paper over there?
Jim, I do.
Can you just keep up with where some of these significant names are? Brad Crawford puts Texas number 1 overall.
Oh, I think a lot of people are going to have Texas number 1.
And that's the Arch Manning Sark effect?
Well, I don't think it's a Sark factor because, again, tell me when Sark's won a big game, but I think it is the Arch factor.
In fact, at 24/7, it may be all their writers because they've got a point total out beside this. So it's not just Brad. He writes the story.
Okay.
Georgia is number 2.
Yeah, I mean, look, this Georgia team is maybe the worst we've seen since Kirby's first Georgia team. Yeah. I just don't know if you're going to get an upgraded quarterback.
I mean, you've got to go the whole season now with Gunnar Stockton.
Yeah, and I mean, what's that really going to look like?
Well, this difficulty of their schedule was a touch overstated by Kirby. But as we talked about the other day, all those road games he complained about Greg Sankey sending them on, they all come back to Athens.
Yeah,
now.
and look, I mean, how much skill do you like? Zachariah Branch can be a difference maker if utilized the right way, but he really wasn't in Lincoln Riley's system. What's he going to be in Mike Bobo's system? Like, I don't know. I think Nate Frazier is going to be much better in year 2. But, how much better is the offensive line going to be? Is the defense going to be back to, being completely dominant? I don't know.
Ohio State and Penn State are 3 and 4. Out of the Big Ten there.
Yeah, Penn State's going to be in Ohio State obviously winning a national championship, but I think Penn State with what you've got coming back with Singleton, Allen, and obviously Drew Aller.
The only thing they lost was the big tight end, pretty much, right?
Yeah, Tyler Warren and then Abdul Carter defensively.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
So you lost your 2 best players.
And all your big receivers, though.
Yeah, but they almost beat Notre Dame in the semifinals without even throwing to one of those guys. So.
Oregon, also Big Ten, is at number 5. There, it'll be interesting to see what they do at quarterback because they're going to the backup 5-star quarterback Thompson, right?
Dante Moore.
Excuse me.
Thompson transferred out to Tulane, couldn't even start there, but Dante Moore is a guy that we saw on and off as the starter as a true freshman at UCLA.
Boy, it was good early.
In Will Stein's offense, I don't know how he can miss. Like, I don't know if he's going to be as good as Bo Nix. I don't know if he's going to be as good as Dylan Gabriel, but I think Dante Moore will be really good.
I think this will be a sexy off-season pick. Clemson at 6.
Wow. With Klubnik coming back, I mean, you finally have what seems to be a borderline, I don't want to say elite, but really, really good college quarterback, and we'll see what Tom Allen's able to do with that defense.
Notre Dame is 7 off the national championship loss.
I think you got to watch 2 things, Al Golden, and then what do they do at quarterback? I mean, is it the kid that came in and played?
Steve Angeli. He's the same with Ty Simpson, 50-1 to win the Heisman. Yeah. I think he at least looks really confident.
Alabama comes in at number 8 on the 24/7 list. Tennessee is 9, and SMU number 10. I don't know about SMU.
Well, for Alabama, real quick, I think the defense is going to be really good. I don't think the offense is going to, just based on how inconsistent the offense was, the inability to run the football, like this offense has got to be better. That's what Kalen DeBoer, that's what.
It's got to be more consistent.
It's got to be more consistent, but I just think more effective overall. Like, I would be shocked if, again, going back to that 8.5 win total, like if that thing goes under, it's been a disaster in 2 years. But I think Alabama's going to be much better this year.
Other SEC teams, South Carolina at 11. Just out of the top 10, that will be a sexy offseason pick because of Lenore Sellers.
Yeah,
right?
And I was a little surprised that Lenore Sellers wasn't higher on the Heisman. I guess just simple fact that he's quarterbacking South Carolina.
LSU his offensive coordinator is now Mike Shula.
Yeah, great point. LSU is 12. Florida is 13. So a big clump of SEC right there. This is 24/7.
Here's what I would ask you about LSU. Like, Nussmeier's got a ton of experience. Look, I think offensively they're going to be okay. What you did going out and getting Blake Baker, the defense was horrendous the 2 years before. Blake Baker comes in from Missouri. Did you guys think it was that much better? I thought it was better, but how much better can they be? They still gave up only almost 6 yards a play.
It was better.
But it could only get better.
Yeah, if you look at the 2 teams that played for the national championship, their defenses were really good. Right.
So their road games: Oklahoma, Alabama, Ole Miss, Clemson. Can they go 2-2 in the road games? Oklahoma, Alabama, Ole Miss, Clemson.
I think they are more likely to go 0-4 than 2-2.
Yeah, Oklahoma is better.
Well, they ain't a top 10 team if that's the case.
Oklahoma's better than they were last year.
Alabama's better.
Ole Miss is less than they were last year, in my opinion.
Clemson's better.
I think the answer is probably 1-3 right there. I think that would be the answer.
Yeah, my thing is if you can get 2-2 on those 4 road games, take care of business at home, you should be okay.
Yeah. Okay, not an SEC team, but just for point of reference, Brown, Michigan is 16.
Mm-hmm.
All right, SEC teams at the bottom. Ole Miss is 19.
Well, that's a big drop.
Yeah. Now mark this one, 24/7 Sports at number 20, the Auburn Tigers.
Okay.
To see where Auburn's street cred is going into the offseason.
Yeah, look, I hyped up Auburn coming into this year. I'm just going to have to wait until Hugh Freeze actually does something because this, I don't think there's any denying Auburn is a basketball school. I know Clay jokes around with you about Alabama being a women's softball school, but I don't think there's any joking. I mean, Auburn is a basketball school right now. They haven't been a football school in a while.
Oklahoma is 25, rounding out the top 25. That's from the folks at 24/7 to Bleacher Report. And they do their way early top 25 and a nice little concise list, which I really enjoy. Thank you, Bleacher Report. Texas is 1. That's 2 in a row.
Did you mention Indiana at all?
I skipped over them.
They were in there, though. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I do think it's going to be a little different. I don't think you're going to get an undefeated Indiana team that's going to be in the top 5, but I don't think Cignetti's program is just going to completely fall off, especially with Mendoza coming in at quarterback.
I mean, just for time purposes.
Yeah, no, I get it. I just wanted to check.
Arizona State, they were all mentioned there in the bottom. Texas is 1. I'll give you the top 10 and then the SEC.
Okay, we got a trend already with Texas.
Yep. Ohio State is 2, Georgia 3, Penn State 4, Oregon 5, Notre Dame 6, Clemson 7, Alabama in there at 8. Here's South Carolina at 9 and LSU at 10. Other SEC teams. Tennessee is 12, Florida is 13. Florida is a trend we're noticing early on. Different off season for them. Michigan is 18 on this list, non-SEC, but just out of a point of reference. Ole Miss is 20. Oklahoma is 23. A&M 24. They got Amari Niblack yesterday, by the way. And Auburn.
I don't know what that does for you.
And Auburn in this list as well at 25.
Okay, so let me go to South Carolina because I asked you guys about LSU and their 4 road games. South Carolina's got to go to Missouri, LSU, Ole Miss, and A&M. Missouri, LSU, Ole Miss, A&M. In order to be a top 10 team, you got to go 2-2 in those. Do you think they can win Missouri, LSU, Ole Miss, A&M 2 of those?
Yeah, I think they can. I mean, will they? I don't know, but they can go 2-2 in that. I mean, through 2 of these, South Carolina is supposed to be this year's Ole Miss, and Florida is supposed to be this year's Missouri.
Yeah.
Through 2 of these.
Now, the difference is I think Lenora Sellers is that special.
3 more here. Yahoo quickly. Georgia, number 1. Ohio State 2, Oregon 3, Penn State 4, Texas 5 on this list.
Woo.
Notre Dame still hanging in there. Everyone's talking about Angeli. And Jeremiah Love will be back too, they say. Tennessee is 7, Clemson is 8, Alabama 9, Ole Miss is 10. Other SEC teams, South Carolina is 13, A&M is 17, right behind Indiana on this list. Missouri is 20. This is the first time I've seen Missouri.
First time I've written them down.
They've got to replace Brady Cook. They're doing that with Bo Pribula from Penn State, you'll remember.
And Luther Burden.
Florida is 21. LSU 22. Not a lot of love for Nuss there. And they barely have Michigan in the top 25 at 25. That's Yahoo.
Just on the state teams, Alabama and Auburn. I mean, Auburn is in most top 25s, which probably puts them as an 8-win team. Alabama's in most top 10s, which puts them at 9 or 10 wins and being in the college football playoff. Do you think if today, next year, if we fast forward 365 days and Alabama, when we go through the finals, they lost in the semis or the quarters, and Auburn went 8-4, do you think the fan bases are okay with that?
I would say yes, because that
improvement
that gets Alabama back into the playoffs, which is the next step before you can win a championship.
Yeah, I think both of those would be improvement. I think both fan bases. I mean, Auburn fans would have to take 8-4. I mean, you hadn't had a winning season in 4 years.
I know, but boy, year 3, if you're like, all right, we're 8-4, you feel like that is too slow of a climb.
Yeah. But, I mean, if you win your bowl game, then you're 9-4, and that's the same record Alabama had this year.
Well,
so you're
now,
moving
again,
forward.
As we always talk about, if one of the 8 is Alabama, it feels differently, right?
It does. Back at Jordan Hare this year. The Athletic, Stuart Mandel writes this for The Athletic. Penn State, number 1.
Stuart does realize that you've got to win some big games to be number one, right?
Yeah.
But again, I don't know, is he doing it going into the season or how he figures it's going to play out?
Oregon comes to Happy Valley on September 27th, and Penn State plays at Ohio State on November 1. He's talking about this is his number one team in the country, I assume, at the end of the year. Texas is 2 for him. Notre Dame is 3.
Well, I mean, he's got Penn State and Notre Dame 1 and 3.
Well, Notre Dame is not going to – neither one of those teams will be out of anyone's top 10.
Yeah, because Notre Dame gets Love back. They get Greathouse back, a couple of corners, a safety.
You know where Notre Dame opens next year, right?
I do not. They play A&M. They play the return game for A&M, don't they? But that is in South Bend.
They open at Miami.
Oh, that's right. We talked about that the other day.
Yeah. I mean, how fun is that?
Yeah,
You talk about college game day. You went on and penciled it in, and I kind of lean with you that it will be.
Is it Ohio State, Texas that week too?
It is.
I mean, all this is week 1.
I don't know where they'll be then, because where was it? Clemson and
it was LSU Clemson.
Yeah. But I mean,
one of those games will get moved to a Sunday. Will not surprise me if it's LSU Clemson.
I mean, because Notre Dame and Miami are both going to be top 10 teams.
Yeah. Wouldn't surprise me if LSU Clemson gets moved to a Sunday.
I've seen Miami as high as number 3 on a way too early.
That has generally been one of those neutral site games. Well, I shouldn't say generally. It was this past year with USC and LSU. And I don't even know what the neutral site games are this year. I haven't seen those announced that I'm aware of.
LSU is 4 on the athletics list.
Wait a minute. So
I just said it. Yeah, LSU is 4.
Stuart Mandel has got Penn State 1, Notre Dame 3, and LSU 4?
Yep.
Okay.
Clemson 5.
This was pretty wild.
Ohio State is 6.
Okay.
Georgia 7. Oregon 8. Arizona State 9.
Is Stewart doing football?
He is.
Okay.
So keep in mind now, Levitt is back at Arizona State. Jordan Tyson is supposed to be healthy and back.
Yeah, Scattaboo, that guy meant so much to this team. Now, they are bringing in this Army transfer.
BYU is 10. Florida 11.
Wait a minute. BYU at 10?
Yep. Florida, Stuart Mandel, the athletic.
This one is wild.
I think BYU is going to be good. I mean, BYU won 11 games last year. Retzloff is back at quarterback.
That's right. Their running back is back. And Florida 11.
Boy, Napier's got a lot of
he
pressure
does
on him
he? So far, 13, 13, and 11. Yeah. 3 of the 4.
Yeah, Napier saved his job this year, but he could lose it next year.
I know.
Just point of reference, Stewart has Illinois 12.
Again, you were the first to bring up Illinois and their 21 returning starters, but, they won 10 games for the first time in almost a quarter of a century. Luke Altmaier is back, and Brett Bielema was a guy that's done a solid job everywhere he's been.
Tennessee is 13. Any certain fatigue starting to show up for you yet?
I don't think Tennessee would take 13, do you?
I don't either, but you still have not said Alabama. Where Stewart got them?
Alabama 14.
Yeah, that would be a disaster.
South Carolina 16, A&M 17, just because we've done it every time. Michigan is 18.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm not crazy about Stewart's college football playoff. I'll go ahead and tell you.
Oklahoma's in there at 25.
Yeah.
And then one more from the folks at CBS. Dennis Dodd does the writing, and I'm trying to see if it's all the CBS folks or it's just Dennis. Maybe just Dennis. Texas 1, Georgia 2. Dennis, good old SEC boy.
That's
Thank
right.
you. Miami 3 with Carson Beck. Now, that's something to talk about.
It is. Again, I think Carson Beck is good. I think he's better than most people think. I don't think he's as good as Cam Ward was. I don't think they're going to be as good as they were. And then the albatross, I hate to say it, is Mario Cristobal.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, you say it about Sark all the time. I say it about Cristobal
Can you
all the
give
time.
me Miami's schedule real quick? Because, again, they're opening with Notre Dame, so they did have the benefit of winning a lot of really, really close games until they did.
I don't have dates on the ACC games yet. They don't have dates out yet. But Notre Dame is their Saturday, August 30th. It says or August 28th through September 1st. So the date has not been set on that one. So that might be your Sunday or Monday night game there.
Yep.
Maybe a good one.
Notre Dame and Miami. And in fact, Miami has scheduled like this could be your Sunday or Monday night game because they got Bethune-Cookman week 2. So that's generally how you schedule.
I hate to force time by the older we get, but boy, I wish that was next week.
I do too. USF and Florida also had a schedule. Their ACC slate, Lance, is at Florida State, at Pitt, at SMU, at Virginia Tech.
Wait, go back. So you've got out of conference, you got Notre Dame,
USF, and Florida.
Boy, that's a brutal out of conference.
Now they host all those. They do not play a road out of conference game.
Yeah, I would be shocked though if they go 3-0 though.
Their conference road games are Florida State, Pitt, SMU, Virginia Tech. Their conference homes are Louisville, NC State, Stanford, Syracuse.
Man, I think they're an 8-4, 9-3 type team.
I don't see them as number 3.
This is CBS Sports. Dennis Dodd. Ohio State 4, Penn State 5, Notre Dame 6, Oregon 7, Clemson 8, Tennessee 9. Highest I think I've seen Tennessee. LSU 10.
By the way, Nico's going to have to be a lot better if Tennessee wants to take that next step.
Yeah. And then others of note from the SEC, Brownie. Leave that sheet up because I want you to give me a big picture.
I've gotten lost on the Yahoo. You went too fast.
His ink's gone.
Okay, Miami 3, Ohio State 4, Penn State 5. All right. Shorthand.
Okay.
Alice. Notre Dame 6,
Alice.
Oregon 7, Clemson 8, Tennessee 9, LSU 10. Other SEC of note.
Okay.
South Carolina 11, Alabama 14.
Mm-hmm.
Ole Miss is 17, Florida is 18, Missouri again is 20, A&M is 22, and that is it for the SEC.
Okay, so
he does slide UNLV and Dan Mullen
just
into
on
the top
this
25.
CBS, how many fan bases would take that? I mean, just real quick. So obviously, Georgia would take number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Texas would take number 1.
Oregon would take Miami would take number 3 in a heartbeat.
No, I'm talking about just SEC.
Oh, SEC. I'm
so
sorry.
1 and 2. Tennessee, would they take 9?
No.
They get you to the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
That's where you were this past year.
Yeah, but you got another road playoff game.
LSU takes 10.
Yeah, because they're in the playoffs.
It's year 4, though.
I know, but you're in the playoffs.
South Carolina definitely takes 11.
Yep.
Alabama would not take 14.
Not at all. That's 2 straight years
where they were.
Yeah, Ole Miss 17.
No.
Nope.
I don't know how good Austin Simmons is going to be, but Florida 18. I think they would take that, right?
I don't know. That's still an 8 or 9 win team with that schedule. Probably an 8 win team.
I mean, again, that schedule. I don't want to grade on a curve, but that's.
I mean,
you get 8 wins.
What ranking did you have them?
Florida.
Yeah,
18.
With that schedule, that could be an 8 win team at 18.
I think they would.
As that schedule
I think they would take 18. I think Missouri takes 20. They've won 21 games over the last 2 years, but you are Missouri. A&M 22. I don't know if you. Is that good enough?
Not if I don't beat Texas.
Yeah, I don't know.
So, Brownie, just you got the sheet there. Just think about it as he tells us about our friends at Michelson, and to give me a couple of overview thoughts on what you see there in a big picture from those 5 way too early.
Look, if you wear glasses or contacts, I wore contacts for about a decade. I was wasting money each and every year on the contacts and solution. Finally went to see Dr. Mark Michelson. I screened out. I was a potential candidate. I got the procedure done. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. 2015 vision, better than 2020. Make the phone call that I made. Schedule the hassle-free consultation, 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy Toto. The next round sent you. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business. For more information, michelsonlaservision.com.
I really think my biggest takeaway is about 2 coaches that catch criticism for their big game performances. It is based on these 5 polls. If these are representative of what you actually see or representative of fan expectations, which I think they probably are representative of fan expectations.
These 5 sites will build up your expectations in the offseason.
It is national championship or bust for Steve Sarkisian. I mean, I don't even know if playing for it. I mean, they were in the semifinals this year.
And last year.
And last year. So I don't even know if just actually playing for it gets him off the hook.
Do you think he only gets Arch for this 1 year?
Potentially.
I looked at I've seen 2 mocks for 2026, and Arch is top 5 in both.
Okay, but Peyton was number 1 overall to the Jets.
Yeah.
He came back. Did Eli come back for his final year?
I think he did.
Listen, yeah, he did. Listen, with the money Arch is making there, I could see him coming back. And the other coach that catches a lot of strays for what they do in big games is James Franklin at Penn State, and it's play for a national championship or bust for him based on these polls.
Because he was in the semifinals.
That's right. I think Texas win 1 or bust, and for Franklin, play for 1 or bust for him.
Where is it for Dan Lanning?
That's a great point.
That's a good question.
When do you start underachieving at this point if you're Dan Lanning?
I mean, because, he got beat twice. All he had to do was beat DeBoer in one of those games last year.
But it is
He lost the rematch as a 1 seed.
The way he lost, too.
Yeah.
It's a running theme, though, for that job. I mean, they dealt with that with Cristobal. And is Dan Lanning just Cristobal 2.0 if he can never get past Ohio State or whoever else he's got to get past? Maybe in this case, Penn State.
They never won the championship. Chip played for it and got Cam Newton.
Yep.
One team you
they couldn't get back.
You didn't say in any of those, and maybe you skipped them in one of them, but Lincoln Riley in year 4 is not in any top 25.
Well, then
I don't know if he was in any of them.
Yeah.
Look here.
I mean that's
UNLV, Texas Tech, Indiana, A&M, Tech, Florida.
Let me say this: going from 11 wins,
not in the CBS one,
to 10 wins to 8 wins to.
I mean, Navy is in the athletic one,
and USC is not.
Yep.
Wow.
Indiana is in there. Baylor's in there.
Yeah, I don't care how big the buyout is. If they're not a top 25 team to end the season next year, he is gone.
Louisville is in the Yahoo one, and no USC.
Well, that's a disaster, Lance. Can't even finish ranked.
Bleacher Report. I mean, Iowa State, Indiana, Auburn's in there. No USC, and the only one that's left is 24/7. I don't remember seeing them. Nebraska's in that one, and no, they are in none of these. USC's in none of the way too earlys.
That's a problem.
That's eye-opening.
Yeah,
eye-opening.
And obviously they didn't finish ranked this year.
Cut number 4, Tyler, if you will. Marcus Freeman on just the future of Notre Dame football. I want you to listen to him after the loss last night. It's always tough to think about the future right after the loss. He tries to put it in perspective, and you give me your thoughts on what Marcus says right here.
They put this program in a position to play for a national championship, and we didn't get it done, and it hurts. And my job is to figure out why, and I will, but I told these guys they've left this program better. I don't care if you were here for 1 year or you've been here for 6 years. Our program is in a better place because of the examples these two have set and many other leaders in that locker room. So the outlook of Notre Dame football is extremely high. As long as the people in that locker room that come back understand what it takes, the work these guys have put in, there's a lot of success in our future.
One thing I would just say from that is his message feels a little different because of that fourth quarter comeback.
Yeah, because it was trending to be 2012.
Yeah, I mean, like if it was 31-7, Ohio State driving, wasn't it 31-7 still when he fumbled?
Yeah. Buka's fumble, they were up 31-7.
You close out that drive and it's 38-7.
Yeah, like this could have easily been. I thought it was going to be a 38 or 45-7 final.
And then it feels like, boy, we got there, but we are not close.
It's Brian Kelly 2.0.
Yeah, but because of that second half comeback, you hear that and you're like, yeah, they were kind of close right there. If they could just get that third down stop, if they don't allow the long pass, they get the ball back, and who knows?
Yeah, we say Georgia felt different this year. Notre Dame felt different. Like,
they did.
Playing for the national championship, whatever, this was a different type of Notre Dame team, the way that it was assembled. So I do think that the future is very, very bright for Marcus Freeman. I got to say one more point on USC. I just have to bring this up because it is amazing that in year 4, your program's supposed to get better each and every year. You're getting paid a ton of money. You brought in the right defensive coordinator who decided to stay this year. Nobody projects you as a top 25 team. In their last 20 overall games, what do you think their record is?
How many overall?
20. So obviously the entirety of the 2024 campaign and then going back to the last half of 2023.
I'm going to say 10-10.
Brown, 20 games.
10-10 would be an embarrassment.
I take it I'm wrong.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it sounds right, but it would be an embarrassment.
His reaction tells me I'm wrong.
Oh, they're 9-11.
9-11.
You're close.
I mean, that's an embarrassment.
Yeah.
I mean, going back to Pac-12 days to now in the Big Ten, it's not like the schedule was daunting.
But let me ask you this real quick. Big picture USC. We got all summer to talk about it. 214 days until kickoff. But there are people there that are leaving USC to go to other places. when Lincoln got that job and all the outdoor news conferences and all that, I felt like they were going to be able to be top tier in NIL payments, making payments. It doesn't seem like that's the case.
Oh, year one they were.
Right.
And I don't know what happened.
Like, are they money short when it comes to NIL? How are they not tapping into movie stars?
Yeah, I don't know. The NIL was supposed to be healthy.
I mean, Snoop Dogg does everything now.
But if your quarterbacks this year, Miller Moss and Jaden Maeva.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be able to go out like the Underwood kid. That if he was paid $10 million to go to Michigan, you got to outbid teams like that.
Yeah.
You got to outbid Miami for Carson Beck.
I mean, how much money does Will Ferrell, Snoop Dogg, and give me one other person that has spent time on the sidelines before?
Steven Spielberg.
Steven Spielberg.
I don't know if he's been on the sidelines, but he graduated from there.
I mean, George Lucas.
George Lucas.
I mean, all you got to do is just take a little bit from each of these guys.
Yeah.
Now, I can imagine it's hard to convince George Lucas and Steven Spielberg to donate to a kid to play football at USC.
I mean,
it's got to be a tough sell.
Just throw Star Wars in the theater for one weekend and just give the kids that money.
Let them have it.
Yeah.
Whatever the gate gets.
Yeah. I mean, crap, give them popcorn sales, and then they're all approaching Ohio State's money at that point. Yeah. Interesting where we are in college football. Basketball tonight in Tuscaloosa. When we come back, though, we will do trash. We'll pay tribute one more time, post-game locker room, to the Ohio State national champions. And we'll ask one question from our buddy Joel Klatt's tweet last night. I want y'all's thoughts on that. That's coming up. The show being brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services, Heating and Cooling. Talked to a young man yesterday who said, I'm thinking about getting into the HVAC business. I said, our friends at Hemp Hill would be a great place to start, man.
Yeah. Hey, make that call. If you're looking for a job, 205-229-2090. Trust the name. Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling issues. Any of these arise in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Hard to stop a train. For more information, 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
It's the O'Reilly Auto Parts World of Wheels, January 31st through February 2nd at the BJCC. With customs, classics, hot rods, and more. Check out the exotic lineup in the Supercar South Hall. Sponsored by Mob Inc. And don't miss the BMX stunt team performing outrageous stunts live. Friday only, meet All Elite wrestler Christian Cage. Saturday, it's Bill Carlton from Texas Metal. And Sunday, meet Oscar from The Office. Bring the kids for free Hot Wheels racing, costume characters, rides, and more. Get discount tickets at all O'Reilly Auto Parts stores. Details at worldofwheels.net.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service. Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
From the creators of The Next Round comes 2 new sites, CoverCrimson.com and TheBarnAuburn.com. 2 team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. CoverCrimson.com or TheBarnAuburn.com. Sign up today.
Happy football season. At The Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant Denny or Jordan Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out TheBarnAuburn.com and CoverCrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays. Since you listened to my last message so well and got rid of those cargo shorts and stained t-shirts, it's time to replace them with Rhoback. Go to Rhoback.com and click on the Refresh collection to find all that you need for an EG-approved wardrobe. It includes pieces that will have you ready to hit the golf course after a busy day of meetings, or comfy favorites for travel and working from home. Get 20% off using code TNR20. See, I'm saving you some money.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Trash in just a second. We will get to that. Looking forward, hopefully weather-wise, everyone's okay. We'll show you some pictures from Baton Rouge in just a second. But I wanted to bring up in our Dr. B in focus, Harry tweet of the day, our buddy Joel Klatt.
Klatt guy, Harry?
He gets into the weeds on this one. Forrester, if you'll put it up, here's Klatt. I'll read it for you guys and then you'll react. Joel Klatt. This is supposed to be the pinnacle of our sport, the destination for every player, coach, and fan. Yet somebody decided that playing the national championship on a Monday night deep in the NFL playoffs was a good idea. The mismanagement of college football has been egregious. Thoughts?
Well, that's a strong statement. I don't know what you're supposed to do, though, when you have the longest season in the history of college football. I mean, are we supposed to start it early? You're supposed to tell the NFL to push theirs back? I mean, what do you do?
You can't tell the NFL anything.
Right.
The NFL laughs at you when you tell them that. I love me some Klatt. I do think Klatt is a big New Year's Day Rose Bowl guy. I think that's what is part of this is he I think he's even said it on this show that he thinks the schedule should be adjusted so this thing can be done on New Year's Day, which can be hard to do.
Impossible.
Okay, but how do you do that? How do you do that?
Well, you would have to move the start of the season back a week. So what is now week 0 becomes week 1.
Yeah.
So you start the season in late August, which I'm fine with. That's sooner we get to football. You don't do buys. You immediately start the playoffs right after the conference championship games. Now, to do that, you're probably going to have to build in 2 bye weeks in the season like we had this year, which I'm fine with. I didn't mind that one bit. But, I mean, you would immediately have to start the playoffs and just play them as quick as you can. And that's going to require you playing on some weird nights, maybe some Wednesday or Thursday night games. It's going to feel weird, but you're going to have to play some of those so that you can have the proper rest to finish this thing on New Year's Day, if that's what you wanted to do. That would keep you from going head-to-head with the NFL playoffs. Not with the NFL, but with the NFL playoffs. Or semifinals on New Year's Day, and then after the final week of the NFL, then you've got Wednesday or Monday night all to yourself. And everybody's only talking about the end of the regular season. They're not talking about the playoffs. I mean, those are your options.
Yeah, I don't know.
If you don't want to do it like they did it last night.
Well, the one thing, and I know we talk about the front of the schedule, one other part that throws a complication in is Thanksgiving weekend, which is a big traditional rivalry weekend, is that Thanksgiving weekend. The rivalry games have traditionally been around that. Now, I know
a week earlier.
I know Alabama and Auburn, they used to play early December.
Yeah, they used to have Thanksgiving weekend as a bye, right?
Yep, and would play early December sometimes. So that game has moved around. So I don't think it would be earth-shattering to end the rivalry weekend the Saturday before Thanksgiving, but then that would put your first round of the playoffs on Thanksgiving weekend, and we do away with conference champion. I mean,
if you do away with conference championship games, then
yeah. But then, but it is going to be a rush at that point to get to the end of the season on January 1st. But I do think that would probably help TV ratings. There are some of those Saturday nights that probably the NFL would would say, okay, we don't have to play on Saturday nights anymore.
Where are the ratings from last night?
I have not heard from them yet. Brownie is my ratings guy.
Well, I was about to say, if this thing comes in and has a massive ratings number, then you may look at it differently.
And I
don't know if it's going to or not, because I imagine it lost a lot of people at 31-7.
Yeah, I mean, I had a buddy text me before. He was like, "Who do you have tonight?" He's like, "I'm not even sure I'm going to watch this." Big Alabama guy.
Yeah.
But I wonder how many people like Clay tapped out at 28-7.
Well, I think a lot of people did. Like, I had a group of people at my house watching, and the party almost wrapped. The fumble is what saved the party, basically. I mean, so people were tapping out of that game pretty quick, I would imagine.
Yeah. Can't wait to see the ratings. It'll be out at some point today. Dr. B bringing us that In the Weeds Harry tweet of the day from Joel Klatt.
Yeah, again, over 3 years ago, I noticed that I was thinning out when we started this. I could see it on our monitors that nobody had told me, look, if you have somebody out there you care about, they're starting to thin out a little bit, they don't know it, tell them about it. Be preemptive. Go see Dr. Beckenstein, best in the business. 205-319-0316. Call, schedule the consultation. Tell his great staff the Next Round sent you from genetic testing, custom compounding, the transdermal infusion, AI hair analysis. There are over 10 categories of agents they can use knowing they will work for you. They've got custom compounds for these agents for you in pill or topical forms. You pick and choose which agents that you want. Stop wasting your money and critical time on things like the online products that you don't even know if they're going to work. While you're losing hair, you need to stop wasting the money and critical time on treatments that aren't working for you. Come to Dr. B. Find out what will work. I'm telling you, my hair is more than doubled in thickness. I do that non-invasive treatment 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time. That is it. For more information, t3hair.net.
Yeah, when I see some of those online or TV commercials or in my social media feeds, I'm like, that doesn't look like that's really your hair.
Well, I don't know how you can. I mean, I'm being honest about this because you went in. I mean, he literally takes samples from your DNA and your genetics.
That's right.
That's what he runs, and that's how he figures out what compounds. Like, you go online and you do kind of a study on your phone, and then they ship you something. I don't know how you think that's going to work. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. But it's a big roll of the dice. Go see someone local that you can trust.
Probably works for about 33% of the people.
Maybe. I don't know.
They're sending out a blanket treatment there. All right, that's our buddy Dr. B there. One before you hit the trash button, can I see a little video from snowfall in the Southland? This one is
Tiger Stadium.
Tiger Stadium.
Oh, wow.
Look at that. I saw, well, I don't know what Scott's got to show us. I'll say it at the end.
How cool would that be if LSU hosted a home playoff game and that's what you get?
And it was against a Big Ten team, and they had to come south and play in the weather.
Penn State at LSU.
Yeah, look at that.
Wow, that's crazy.
I wish BK had him out there practicing today.
Yeah. What if he decided, we're going to start spring early this year?
Yeah, we're going to get out there and practice today.
Oh, that's a good look. The old whiteout helmet.
I kind of like their traditional, man.
I do too, but in the snow, the whiteout.
Yeah, interesting. You don't have any more, do you, Forrester, that you want to show us?
I saw John Summerall sharing some. There's another lower shot.
Wait, so do we get snow in the quarter today in New Orleans?
Yep, we did.
Are we getting snow at the beach?
I don't know. I was checking in with Steve Powers of the Floribama, and I was let me check.
I've got
with him.
some family down in Mobile, and they said it was snowing down there.
Yeah, my daughter at South Alabama is sending me video of snow, and they were saying New Orleans was going to get up to 8 inches today, which is insanity, man. I don't know how long it would shut us down if we got 8 inches.
Boy, that is one place.
I would imagine it hard for them to handle.
Yeah, I would think
One place that is not fun in the cold is New Orleans.
Oh, yeah.
No,
it's sometimes not fun in the hot.
Well, it's just hard to post up at one bar when you're down there.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll try to get a Floribama.
Oh, wait. Forrester's giving me one of these.
Oh, he's got 1 minute. I'll try to get something from the Floribama if that's not what Scott has here.
There we go. This is Tulane Stadium.
Look at that. That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw Summerall sharing some of those. They were projecting as this started to develop and come into New Orleans that it might drop as much as 8 inches.
Well, they always need a really good excuse to drink down there. Do you think this snow day's doing it?
I mean,
they have hurricane parties. You think they're having a snow party?
I would say so.
I wonder if the fountains at Pat O'Brien still are going with flames.
But, that's a place I hadn't been to in a while.
Pat O'Brien's?
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy sitting there having a cocktail.
Yeah.
Drinking a hurricane to where somebody had to hold my hair back.
I told you Lafayette, Louisiana had a blizzard warning for the first time in recorded history today. That ought to tell you something.
That gets you to trash, which is brought to you by Mortgage Right with his little skull cap on, his little toboggan, as we used to call it, in the mud hole. Tyler, hit the big button.
Well, shit. What are y'all doing? This is awful. It's still March. How many days in March?
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
Hey, if you're looking for a new home, our friends at Mortgage Right here to help. Whether you're a first-time buyer or a seasoned home buying veteran, their great service and low rates make the process easy. And speaking of veterans, they're veteran-founded right here in Birmingham. So remember, whether you're looking for your final home, first home, whether you have a big down payment or need 100% financing, Mortgage Right, one-stop shop for mortgages. Visit them online, mortgageright.com. Call 205-900-7200, NMLS 2239. Equal housing lender. Central Florida woman arrested over the weekend on drug possession charges for the second time this month. Taryn Ackery, 31 of Melbourne, was booked into county jail on Saturday. Several drug-related charges, including trafficking of meth, possession of meth with intent to sell, and possession of drug paraphernalia. She looks sad.
Yep. She does. She didn't have it in that bag, did she?
Okay, here's where we're going.
Yeah.
Deputies arrested Acra after pulling over a vehicle in which she was a passenger. Driver consented to a search of the vehicle, asserting that nothing illegal should be inside. However, deputies discovered that Acra had several bags on her, one of which was labeled right there, definitely not a bag full of drugs.
Definitely not.
In that bag, meth, needles, digital scales, small baggies, cut straws, and other drug-related items.
A digital scale is going to get you
every single
time.
Yeah, there's no other reason to have that one with a bag of drugs, is there?
Yep.
What I want to know is why she bothered giving the officer consent to search the car.
Well, I don't know if
but then was also like, oh, there's nothing.
But it was the girl driving with her. Maybe the girl that was driving with her didn't know.
Maybe.
No, that's going to hurt the friendship. Look at that face.
Yeah, she is upset.
Yep.
Think she's got RBF, or is she just super sad?
I think she's really upset here.
Yeah.
In fact, it could be what LT's talking about is I didn't know anything bad was going on in this stupid friend of mine.
Well, she's the one that had the bag.
Who is probably better looking than me, but I keep being her friend because I can orbit her Earth.
You playing percentages there?
Yes.
Yeah, well,
I think there was a probably there. But.
Yeah, 36% chance.
Although it appears TikTok will continue to be accessible in the U.S., many people were upset when they temporarily lost access to the app. One 19-year-old Wisconsin teen, so angry at the prospect of his beloved TikTok being banned, he set fire to a congressman's office.
That'll do it.
Shortly after 1 a.m. on Sunday, police officers responded to reports of a burning building. The building is leased by U.S. Rep. Glenn Grothman, one of the Republicans who voted in favor of the law forcing TikTok to sell its U.S. operations or be banned in the U.S. Police later arrested this man on suspicion of setting the fire. Channel 3000 reports that he admitted to committing arson, which was a response to the TikTok ban. Unnamed teen is being held right now in county jail. It appears fire was started after TikTok stopped U.S. users from accessing the app on Saturday.
Channel 1? Nope. Channel 3000.
Sorry, we're on up the dial. Just keep going.
Yep.
He just decided to torch that wall, right?
Well, he did. Yeah. I mean, it worked.
Jim Dunaway, Channel 3000 News.
He could have waited just like a day and a half and been able to
See
go
how
back
it
to
plays
TikTok.
out.
You really didn't have to set the fire.
Well, it was the sad. I told this to EG and Little T. It's the saddest moment in American history, or one of them, that everyone was all upset. I mean, who didn't know it was going to come back? I didn't know it'd be back in 18 hours, 19 hours.
I didn't know it went away.
But who didn't think it was not going to come back starting yesterday, because President Trump had said it was going to come back, but that 2 million plus people signed up for Red Note, and in the process signed that you agree to be you agree to be part of the Chinese Communist government.
Is that real? I saw people saying that. That's 100% real. So
you had to sign basically a waiver that, and then EG and I were joking like, hell,
is that treason?
What if you get a draft notice from the Chinese government?
We're going to need you to
you check the box. You're in our military now.
That's right. General So would like you to show up for duty.
Yeah, in 15 or 20 minutes.
Well, and I think Trump should allow those people to be extradited to China, right?
I was the saddest moment that people were like, I'll check this out here. China doesn't look as interacting here on this app. China doesn't look as bad as I thought it was. It seems to be but look how clean. It seems to be so nice.
Yeah.
I've got new friends in China now. I did too briefly, and they ended up stealing my account and trying to sell you guys crypto. It's a bad world.
Fuming husband really dug himself into a hole after his wife vented about her boss, deciding the best handle on the situation was to whack the guy in the head with a shovel.
Oh, look at him, man.
Shit.
He's dead.
That is a shovel to the back of the head.
He's dead as a wedge in that right picture.
He went straight into a glass container, too, didn't he?
I would imagine. Look at him.
I mean, you don't look at that. You fall on your heels there. That's not a collapse. That is, I am out
that
cold.
Yes. Turn his lights
All
off.
caught on camera. Obviously, a man strolls into this supermarket in Brazil on Saturday, casual browses the shovels, picks his weapon of choice, then ambushes the unsuspecting manager from behind with a vicious strike. Wasn't exactly a spur-of-the-moment decision. The guy strolled around with the shovel for a while, waited for the manager to get distracted on the phone, and then struck, swinging hard directly at the victim's head. Suspect really dug in deep because the manager immediately dropped to the floor, while a squad of store employees rugby tackled the suspect to the ground and waited for police. Suspect's wife, who worked at the store, reportedly complained about this particular manager to her husband. Victim suffered injuries to his head and ear.
I would imagine.
Had hearing loss, was advised to file a statement at the station, and now police are investigating. Not much of an investigation when you got this on tape.
Yeah. Now,
do you have the whole video?
So I can't play it for copyright reasons, and
but it
also,
exists.
Roll the dice, or send it to me at least.
So blue shirt here. He's just standing in the corner, just doing his job.
Right.
And this guy stands back here by the refrigerator and just waits for blue shirt to be turned away, not paying attention.
I mean,
walks up and hits him.
Shovel to the head, man. That is.
On the video, is there any sound?
No, there's no sound. It's a recording of someone watching the security cameras from the back room of the store.
Yeah.
Is
so
there
it's bad quality too?
It does feel like there's a disclaimer that maybe this guy, not to let him, no reason this should happen, but maybe this manager said something to his wife and or girlfriend.
Well, potentially. Yeah. I don't know how bad it's got to be for you to go shovel to the head, but
yeah. I mean, it would have to be pretty bad, but I could see a scenario there that maybe a shovel to a kneecap.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting. Forrester and I had lunch a couple of weeks ago, and he was telling me that his weakness is French fries. And I was like, so what do you think the best fries out there are? And he actually said the waffle fry from Chick-fil-A.
They're really good, Scott.
I heard a vicious rumor about these things last night at poker.
Well,
I don't want to
you
hear
go.
it. I love them.
Customers recently noticed that Chick-fil-A's waffle fries seem to be a little different. As it turns out, customers weren't imagining things. The recipe for the fries changed last year following testing for over a, quote, year in various markets. Spokesperson from the Atlanta-based fast food restaurant chain told Fox News Digital. Now, according to one spokesperson, quote, we know Chick-fil-A fans love our waffle fries. Last year, we made a slight adjustment to the waffle fry recipe, which offers the same great taste while also making our waffle fries stay crispier a little longer. Now, the recipe now includes pea starch, which is used in coating the waffle fries, according to the Chick-fil-A website. Revelation about the updated waffle fry recipe sparked a lot of discourse online, with many people sharing their opinions on the product.
Can I just get spelling at home? It's P-E-A, not P-E-E,
yes,
correct?
I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah, P-E-A.
Okay.
Now, on Reddit, people dedicated to Chick-fil-A topics, the reactions were all over the place, most negative.
Dunaway was peeing starch last week.
Yeah, still today.
One user, quote, love that they're crispier, but they're pretty bland now.
I have not noticed, and I have had fries recently. Have you noticed, Tyler?
I have noticed.
Has Scott noticed?
I've actually not had a French fry in 2025.
Oh, New Year's resolution.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Sadly, I had a number one combo the other day with fruit on the side.
Wow, holy crap.
Oh, wow.
What are you doing?
Which, by the way, number one combo, not as good with fruit on the side.
It loses a little
I'm
bit.
sorry. I would rather have soggy in flavor than crispy and bland. I like crispy. I mean, crispy's the way to do it.
So you can tell the difference, Tyler?
Yeah, there's a little crispiness to it. I don't think most people are noticing a difference because they typically dunk it in some Chick-fil-A sauce or some Polynesian sauce.
Yeah.
So I think that covers it up a bit.
Yeah.
But
See,
if
I
you
eat them
need a
straight.
plate and fry.
Yeah.
you can tell.
I do the old Polynesian.
Well, if I'm in the restaurant, I go barbecue sauce. But if I'm just in my car, I just eat them straight.
Yeah, if I'm in the car, I do that too.
Y'all go pickle or no pickle on your
Pickle,
On the
absolutely.
sandwich?
Pickle, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
I'd go
pickle.
extra pickle if I could. I don't know if they do that or not.
Give me all the pickles.
Yeah.
They do extra pickle for free.
Do they? Okay, well, I'm going to start asking for that.
I go with pickle, but my whole family's always been no pickle. So occasionally, so we don't get confusion, I go no pickle. But
Of course, you're the odd man out.
Yeah, that's true. I'll take a bullet for the family. I'm going no pickle.
The last couple of ones, my taste buds, I think, are changed. Something's happening.
Do you know,
last couple of times the pickle hasn't hit right with me. I don't know if they changed their recipe for pickles by chance. Has anybody heard it? If anybody's peeing in the starch of the pickles.
Oh,
Wait, Chick-fil-A doesn't need to make changes. They ripped our coleslaw off. If you're going to make any changes, I know Brown will disagree. Open on Sunday.
Well, I don't disagree.
I would say just go back to the original menu. Let's just go back to this. I mean, they took the greatest drive-through in human history and made it tremendously more complicated.
It is complicated.
Yeah, but now I mean, Jimmy Old, I am now order app and pull into a designated number guy.
What's complicated about the Chick-fil-A drive-thru?
Well, I mean, they're different. First of all, they're different in different places. Like the one over.
There's people all over the place, and it's like, okay, if you're paying cash, go there.
Yeah.
Follow this, follow that.
The worst one of all time is over near where we play poker. So if I swing by there, they have two lines for the drive-thru. One is for mobile, and one is for if you're going to drive through, as God intended. The mobile never has anybody in there. So what happens is, okay, mobile is coming up, drive-through is here, but what happens then? Then the mobile people, there's not two separate lines. Then we're blending in together again anyway. Let's just do the drive-through the way it was.
That's why they usually ask for your name, too.
It just roll. It used to
You know
roll
what's
through
so easy
fast.
is parking and running in. I know it's a pain in the ass, especially on a day like this.
Not at this one.
Because nobody's ever in the line.
Not at this one.
I agree
because
with you, Jim. It's tough.
The one by us, or where we play poker, it's got a small little area for walk-ins, and it's like a ghost town. You have to ring a bell at Hotel Transylvania to get somebody to come up for a walk-in there. It's insanity.
Pet peeve of mine, I'm tired of ordering at restaurants without being able to pull up to the menu. Does that make sense? Like they cut you off.
It does, yeah.
To where you can't even see the menu.
But you know, at Chick-fil-A, I know the menu well enough. But if it's a place you don't know the menu, that is tough. I don't disagree.
And don't give me just the play sheet. At that point, I'm like, I want to see the whole menu. It's
The
like,
play sheet.
I don't know. What's that salad? And then he whiffs. Yeah. Here's your call sheet. Make a play.
We're going to go tall sweeper right side.
Yeah. Omaha. Sorry, I love Chick-fil-A though. I do. It was just so good.
Like
it's
it right
so
there, yeah.
good. It is so good.
Bring back the chicken salad sandwich too.
Oh
Jerks.
yeah, I like
was
it.
good.
I thought it was good too.
God, you would if you can't handle Chick-fil-A, you would melt at a cookout drive-through.
Oh, forget that. I did it one time.
Cookout's a nightmare.
It is.
Yeah.
So good though.
I went in.
Everything tastes the same at cookout.
Well, Little T and I were in Nashville.
Don't care. Paid
we were
$7.
We were staying at separate locations, and the stay got extended to Sunday. So on Saturday night, she's gone back to her place. I have now walked back to my hotel. Somehow I'm walking back in Nashville. Had a cocktail or two, and there's a cookout across from my hotel. So I walk in, and never been in a cookout before. So it was my first experience, and it was overwhelming.
Yeah, my favorite idea is what Booker told us. Booker was like, when I go to cookout, I just tell them the things I want, and y'all fix it however you need to.
Yeah.
I just got to give them the 5 things I want, and y'all figure it out.
I was so amazed that that A, that many people were in there at that time of night, B, that my order was ready so quickly, and I took it back up to my room, and that it was so tasty and so much food for such little money.
Oh, yeah. Like Tyler said, you can get a bunch of stuff. $7.
Yeah. I mean, I got back to the room, and I was like, because I was expecting a small little this or just like 3 French fries. It was insanity.
Hey, remember, whether you're looking for your final home or first home, whether you have a big down payment or need 100% financing, our friends at Mortgage Right here to help. 205-900-7200 or mortgageright.com.
All right. One more thing before we get out of here today. This hour brought to you by our friends at Champy's Chicken, where the ability to buy the right food is tremendous. It's easy to order. It's the best customer service in the world. Sterling and the crew will take care of you at champyschicken.com. champyschicken.com. Cut 3, Tyler, before we get out of here. Will Howard. I just want to give him some love because I said it. Everyone said it, but I said it from August that if Ohio State doesn't win the national championship, it was going to be because of Will Howard. The kid ended up, after the Michigan loss, passing for over 1,000 yards just in the playoffs. 4 games, but still,
that's a lot.
Over 1,000 yards just in the playoffs against the best of the best. Here's Will Howard.
It can be a lot. You know, the lights are bright. You know, it's a spectacle, and the TV timeouts are like 4 minutes long, and it feels like everything's kind of a show a little bit. But you have to block all that out. And we talked about that all week. Eliminate all the distractions. Don't listen to any of the outside noise. Just finish the job. And, when you get into big games like this, whoever is able to, have the poise and the noise and be able to, overcome adversity, because it wasn't always pretty today. It wasn't always perfect, and it's never going to be. But I think the team that we have and the leadership that we have with Coach Day, just the resilience that this team has shown all year, it's just unbelievable.
What a job by him, the championship game MVP there. Amazing job by him.
Yeah, Chip Kelly finally won a national championship.
That's true. Finally gets that ring, that elusive ring.
And we'll see today if Jim Knowles is back to Oklahoma or going back to the state of Oklahoma, this time with the Sooners. A lot of more college football offseason, 214 days away from the time we kick off the 2025 season. We'll count it down for you here on the Next Round. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.